Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Hobby Night. I am Angela, and today you're joining me for the live stream that is happening over on Warhammer Community's website, where they're going to be revealing stuff. I think I don't actually know what we're going to be looking at. Let's look at the page real quick. Oh, also, I want to put on some music for us, and because I've been playing a bunch of Darktide, we're going to be listening to the Darktide soundtrack. Let me know if that sounds good to you guys in chat, if you could. And let's actually look and see what they're supposed to be revealing. Because I don't know if I specifically remember.
I am going to fix your microphone.
Oh no!
It's not the best. We can make it better.
Oh, excellent.
Let me just see. Yeah, we don't want it to be on that.
Ah, yes. How does that sound? Better, I hope? Yes. Let me know in the chat how I am sounding. We just switched the microphone. I forgot to put it onto my Kitty Kraken headphones instead of the Logitech mic, which was, really far from me, so probably not sounding the best, but hopefully it sounds a lot better now. Now, I think that we are supposed to be getting some reviews. I don't actually know what the reveals are going to be for. This doesn't actually seem to... Oh, wait. Okay, so there's going to be some Warhammer 40k. Warhammer... Oh, hello. Good. One day I will. Sorry, I thought it was and I didn't check it. Oh yeah, I didn't realize it was all the way up. All sorts of audio things. Well, this is why we started a half an hour early, so that I could figure out all these kinks and get everything working so that when the event actually happened, we'd be good to go and we could all gawk and ooh and ah at whatever it is that they're going to be revealing. Which seems to be stuff for Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Necromunda, and Warhammer Underworlds. I think... Honestly, I don't know which one I'm most excited about, but tell me which one you guys are most excited about. I actually think it's kind of Underworld or Necromunda, because I've been really liking the models that we've been getting from Necromunda. Like that recent tank is awesome. My only complaint is that I think the treads are in resin, which is not awesome. Like, resin's fine, I guess, but like it's really weird that they're doing it part plastic, part resin. Ugh. Not the best. Awesome. Thank you, Jeremiah, for letting me know that we are sounding good. That is excellent. I don't know, like, how many of you guys, because I've just got it really hard on my mind right now. Underworlds, but also 40k, totally. I think Underworlds they've got great minis, right? And I'm hoping to see some, like, really cool new stuff, because the last season I wasn't super into. But this newer season that they're seeming to hit at, I'm liking a little bit more, so I'm hoping that we're going to continue to see some really cool models come from that, because I don't remember which one it was. It wasn't Gnarlwood, it was the one before that. Had some great minis. Like, the Lizard group in there was fantastic. Okay, but one of the other things I want to talk about a lot right now, because, one, I'm going to be streaming it tomorrow, so I hope you guys can join me for that, is Darktide, because I have been playing it, like, off and on all day today, and it's just been amazing. Like, I have been loving it. It's hitting exactly the spots I was hoping it would, because for me, like, I liked Vermintide, but I never got super into it. And when I first originally played it, I wasn't, like, grabbed heavily by it. However, I don't know what it is about Darktide. I think it's just because, like, I'm more familiar with the lore and the world and everything that it's set in, but I'm just astounded by all the stuff that's going on. Like, if we didn't have to keep, like, really moving through all the levels, because that's kind of how the game is designed, I would just be standing and staring at the scenery, because they're just so detailed and it's insane, and I love the color palette. I love the gameplay. Like, I got a las gun recently, and I'm pretty sure it's a hotshot las gun because it's using 3 ammo per shot. But it is doing amazing stuff, and I'm just super enthralled. I know, right? The music is also fantastic from Darktide. That's what we're listening to right now, if anybody's wondering. We're listening to the soundtrack to Darktide, because I figured, you know what, why not? It's a gorgeous soundtrack. And it's fantastic. I will say, I do think the men's voices, as just in general are a lot better than the women's voices, because I chose the I did go with a female character, and I went with the agitator voice, which is like the one that just constantly is insulting people, and it's really great to hear her running around. But it's like an old lady voice, and my character does not look like an old lady at all. So it's just very, very funny to me that that's what we're getting from it. I'm gonna scroll back up on here because we do want to make sure that we can go into.
We'll be showing off new miniatures.
Actually gonna get their Twitch open real quick as well, just that actually starts. I don't know if they're gonna be doing any like. Are they going yet? No, they're not going yet. Okay. Back in with a bit then, because I think they normally do a little bit of a pre-show where they like ask questions, have a little slideshow going or whatever, so maybe we'll check that out, but it doesn't look like they're starting quite yet. Eduardo says the 40k arena combat in the game, or the 40k arena combat, great game. Do you mean like the combat in Darktide, or do you mean another game called... I'm not sure which game you're talking about, Eduardo. Please tell me. Clarify whether or not you're talking about Darktide. Oh my god, just listen to this music. It's so good. Oh, it's so, so, so good. Oh, by the way, I apologize if I sound mildly nasally. I am coming down with a very mild cold, so if you hear me sniffle or anything like that, don't worry. I'm actually feeling a lot better. I took some medicine earlier, and it's been helping a whole lot, so. But I might sound a little nasally. Yeah, I just really, like... I've just been playing Darktide all day. I had some really good moments in some of the missions, which I think has been the best thing about it. And tomorrow I plan on playing for a live stream starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time, which I believe is going to be noon Eastern time. And then I think that's 6 p.m. UK time, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But yeah, tomorrow that's going to be happening. So I'm going to be playing a lot more Darktide. I'll probably even continue playing after I'm done streaming, because Chaos Cultist and I just have been having a blast with it. It is a severe co-op game. Like, you gotta really work with your team to get through things, I have found, because I had a couple of runs where they just did not go super well because everybody kind of kept splitting off and ending up doing their own thing a little bit. But whenever I had a team that was like sticking together for the most part and just keep watching each other's backs really well, it went amazingly. There was one moment where I was playing a level where you end up having to put some canisters into a specific area, and one of my teammates was actually carrying the canister, and then he just lugged it at me, and my character caught it midair, and it was so great because I just spun around and then walked it right into where it needed to go. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this intended? I love it. And I think it is, because I've been told that in like Vermintide, some of the like the pro like players that are just like really, really good at the game literally do that, where they'll have like people working the outside and people working the inside, and it'll be just like grabbing the item, tossing it, and then they just kind of like bounce it along. And that sounds so amazing, and having experienced that even mildly in Darktide has been great. Also, the Nurgle influences in the game, unlike say Chaos Gate, where it's a lot more of like the demons and such, and there are some demons in it from my understanding. Like, I do think there's a Beast of Nurgle, which I'm both looking forward to running into and also not looking forward to running into. But like, I'm really hoping that like they maintain this sort of human element to some of the things, but I do also hope we get like a play at some point, like as a character, like a boss character in later levels, because I do think they're planning on rolling out a bunch of different like content over time, unlocking like more feats and like, you know, other stuff in there, and it just looks amazing. Yeah, right? Like, it's so cool to be able to pass them along and like it just work really well. Like, I I had some. I don't know how many of you guys have been playing Darktide, but I've actually had really good experiences with it, even just in connection, like concerns. Like I had one moment where I think the game told me that I think the servers were all full, which I'm just like, well, you know, I'm not gonna specifically complain about that because that's a good problem for Fat Shark to have. That means a lot of people are jumping in and playing the game. In my experience, that's something you want. And I also just like, as somebody who's part of the Warhammer community, am really excited to see that because it just means more people are experiencing the world, and one that I think is actually presenting the world well. Like I think they nailed the aesthetic and the theming and like the vibe of Darktide to fit 40K very, very, very well. I don't know if you guys heard recently, actually, Darktide, I think, like, gave away Vermintide 2 for free, and I think they had, like, a ridiculous number of downloads. I think it was, like, 10,000 or something like that. All just going in and trying Vermintide, which I'm hoping translates into people jumping into Darktide, because, you know, they're roughly the same game, except one's in a sci-fi space world and grimdark medieval. So, like, you know, it fits a lot of people's general vibes of I like both of these things and they overlap fine. It's just so good. I am going to check because we are like 15 minutes out, so I want to see if they've got their stream going. I think they. Oh, and actually, before I do pause the. May not have music. Oh no, they do. It's just very soft. All right. Excellent. Well, we'll go ahead and just stick with this for now because they're showing some stuff. They've got some nice music going. And honestly, I'm loving the cosplay. Like that's something I really want to do for Warhammer 40K. I've done a little bit of like light cosplay for 40K. Like I have a sister costume that I've kind of taken from Spirit and made a little bit 40K, but like one of the things I'd love to do down the line is get an actual Sister of Battle like armor set. I talked about it a little bit in the vlog where I went to the Maker Fair at Silicon. It like I really, really want to get an armor set for Sister of Battle. I just think it would be super cool. It would make me feel like an absolute badass. I already have a bolter that I could use for it, so I wouldn't even need to necessarily get a weapon accessory. I would just need the armor. And like, oh, a Chaos Cultist one would be very cool too.
My name is Paul Murphy.
They're starting.
The Warhammer US Open Series finale grand narrative event. I'm joined by Eddie Eccles. Eddie.
Let me know how everybody can
be here, Paul. It's good to be back on the stream and talking Warhammer. I know you guys have been chatting lots of 40K over the last few hours. Could chat a little bit of Age of Sigmar, but also just generally.
A great Unclean One cosplay would actually be kind of hilarious. Oh my god. I have a Murloc, like, Kirigumi, I think is how that's pronounced, that I got from, like, Blizzard, like, ages ago. I could totally, like, I could transform that into the base of a Great Unclean One costume. Because I could just fill it with, like, fluff somehow to, like, really make it poof, because it's huge. Like, I don't know if you've seen Kirigumi, like, go really, really wide. They're just super baggy. And I think that would be amazing.
This feels very narrative, right? So there's
actually be really
one of the things that you notice immediately is that
it's so dumb too. I would love it.
I mean, you guys might have seen this if you've been watching, and the camera's been kind of panning around and showing different rooms and things. So there's like a forest jungle room where there's lots of camo netting, and it's got like a pine scent. It's got a smell in the air as you go in, which is pretty cool.
You have a Nurgle cosplay? Oh, that's so cool. Board game compendium.
A sense in the air, you
yeah,
know.
Every room's the ref or the judge, I guess, in every room is attired in kind of Warhammer 40,000.
30 seconds screaming. I think you should.
I know you dress
you should totally do a Chaos Cultist cosplay. I want to do a Chaos Cultist cosplay.
It's really cool. So every room's very different, and then next to
there's so many different cosplays that I could think of. I want to do some Eldar, like doing any of. Oh well, they just switched off, I guess. Keep.
Shrine World, which is
Sorry about that. I
lower
have
lighting.
no idea
It's got
why we
candles,
switched
there's, like,
over,
incense
but we're
burning,
all
there's
good
a,
now. I fixed it.
There's a kind of
All right.
a priest of the ecclesiarchy.
Favorite
who every
chaos
20 minutes
god?
or so goes off
I
on a little
actually,
sermon and starts,
I am so
spouting,
torn because I
faith
actually
in the
like
emperor,
all
so
of
it's
them.
really
got
fun.
kind of a
Obviously,
window
I
into
feel
that.
like obligated to say both
Yeah,
Nurgle
I mean, I
and
think,
Slanesh
he's
for
really going
reasons.
for it. Like, I don't know whether
Nurgle
it
because
sounds
I
bad,
run
but
Death
he's,
Guard,
he's-
and
he's
Slanesh
certainly
because
leaning into
I
the
have an
character
Only
with
Fanatics,
some
and
exuberance.
if you enjoy that kind of
That's
stuff, you
awesome.
can find it
But
through
yeah,
my
it's-
link tree.
It's really nice.
But
and the army is really nice as well
I
because
actually
it's,
really like Korn. I
we've
talked
seen a lot
about
of
this
stuff that,
in
you
one of my
don't
recent
see all that
videos.
often at
He's
the
just
tournaments.
so straightforward.
Obviously,
But then Zinch
when people
also
go to
has a lot
tournaments,
of
they tend
appeal
to go,
because personally,
what are the units that are
I
efficient right
like
now,
the
what units
bird
are gonna
aesthetic,
win me
and I
games,
love
objectives,
Thousand
that sort of
Suns
stuff.
and their
A lot of the
Egyptian
armies
theme,
here
and
haven't really kind of, some
teal
people might
and
have kind of
gold
built a balance
together
towards
just
it,
as a
kind of done
color
lots of stuff, but
scheme
fundamentally people have
is
brought
really
what they
high
love,
up
right?
there
So
as one of
there's
my
lots of
I
armies
love
that
it every
look
time I
really
see it.
unusual
Like
and
I
really
don't
different from the kind
actually
of armies
use
that you
it
tend
that
to see,
often in my own
when you
projects.
go to
Although I
grand
do
tournaments. There's
if when I do
monsters,
use
units,
blues,
and
I
all
do
sorts
tend
of
to
things
lean
that just
more
don't
towards
show
a
up very
teal
often.
Some of the
green
coolest
color
things is we
tone
know
rather
that
than like
the
a pure
generals and
blue.
the warlords, they get to kind of pick what
But I
goes-
don't
what
actually
they're
use
gonna
it that
bring
much
to the
in
table
my
as they figure
personal
out
color
their
schemes. I just
assignment and their
love
missions
looking
into
at
this
it. Like I
arc.
just
And so
love
they've
that
got,
color so
figures that
much.
are both, they think are, give them some type of advantage on the tabletop or maybe for the situation, but also the things that, yeah, they're really tied to the story that they're representing and the faction they're representing over the course of this weekend. And we've
Let me
already
know
seen
what
that
your
kind of
guys'
play out and
favorite
start to
chaos
affect what
gods
happens
are
and how
in the
missions
comments
go and everything else.
want
And
to as well,
I
while
don't-
these
the
guys are just
Imperium right now, from what we can
gabbing
tell,
about things
might be
in their
struggling a
chat.
little bit.
I mean, I'm definitely on Team Traitor. Like, if there's ever, if we ever get to the 41st millennium, like the first chance I'm gonna join the first cult that pops up. Extra arms, tentacles.
Axel was here earlier. He did try to.
I'm all in Traitor. Let's go.
Conscript Mr. Eccles.
I mean, I don't
into the Emperor's
I don't blame him.
finest,
I
and,
also
it
be
didn't
all
go
in
very well.
traitor.
Oh, I mean, and if I ever do join, I'm almost certainly gonna double cross in some point.
the Inquisitors are listening. There's
They're always
agents
listening.
all around.
Oh, he mentioned Inquisitors, and
the
like,
previous round of their engagement.
I've not met the Inquisitor yet in Dark Tide. I'm really looking.
Like looking at the
I think it's gonna be really cool. Eventually, like I hope introduce her and show her. We see her like in the opening cutscene, but that's about it. And that's the same trailer that they like showed recently. Mine too.
Different more than just the aesthetic of it. So
right, Zinch and Korn are both good. Like it's really hard to choose between the four gods because they all have their merits. I understand why some people, automatically shy away from Nurgle because pestilence and he's goofy. Some people just aren't into that. But like for me, I like all of them a lot.
The event goes on,
and it's really hard. Like I really like day to day. It changes.
The other thing is
favorite.
That, winning the event or winning is it's not really about
Congrong
winning, right?
is.
So like
Well, it's part of the thing that I like. Like I end up liking Zinch so much just because I really love Magnus and I love the Thousand Suns, and I just think they're so tragic. But then, like on the other hand, like I love Slanesh because Fulgrim and the Emperor are fantastic. I still really like Korn because he's straightforward, but even like Angron is great. And then like with Nurgle, I love Mortarion. The Death Guard are so good. Like there's a reason I run them. That's a reason that's my main army. So it's hard to choose, man.
That's all good, I guess. But like, you want a little bit of drama, right? You want to kind of go through some hard times and come out.
Magnus did nothing wrong. I mean, he kind of did something wrong. Like, let's be honest. But
kind of the joy of Crusade, I guess.
We have a comment here in the chat.
Things could have been handled better by the Emperor. So I'm going to blame him.
As we maybe mentioned earlier, is that over 200
that corpse god
enjoying this experience. It's one of a kind, first of its kind, I guess I should say, experience here, and just seeing the look on the faces, the joy and the interesting. And
dude, Conrad is pretty cool.
Not just in the battle
he is
zones,
pretty awesome.
This kind of thing that ties
There's just so many good characters
awesome. And of course,
in Warhammer, which is why I'm actually a little nervous
about
10th edition. Because Chaos Cultist and I have had this theory that they're going to, in some way, do what they did with Age of Sigmar and kind of like rework the world a little bit. And I
the Imperium before.
I
the
just
game
really
started.
don't know if I'm
It's
cool
just
with
good
that.
stuff. While we're
Because I
doing this,
really
some of
don't
the
like
next,
what they did with
good
Age of
section
Sigmar.
this
No
for
offense
the
to
remainder of our
anybody
time,
that
leading
like
up to the
really
preview.
loves the
So
system
we're
and
gonna do
everything,
preview
but
now.
like
It's gonna be
lore-wise,
Not too far off
nothing
either.
has
I
ever
mean,
grabbed me.
No,
And I
yeah,
just
it's like
feel
we're
like
like the
half the
warm-up
time
act.
I'm
We are.
hearing
I'm
mostly
absolutely.
about
So,
old world
the way the
characters
preview's
coming
gonna
back
work later, we've got some cool stuff to
because
show. We've got some
they're
Warhammer
needed
40,000
or
stuff,
whatever.
there's some AOS stuff,
And
there's some Necromunda,
I
there's
don't
some
know, that
Underworld,
just feels
there's-
lazy. Like if you're gonna reset the
Am I
world,
allowed to tell them
reset the
everything?
world and don't bring those people back.
That's okay. That's not
Um,
And then the people who
otherwise,
come to this
why
event, like we
kill
often
off
do when
that
we have
world?
events, get a chance
When
to see it first, a
especially
little
when
bit,
you
so
look
they get a
at
little sneaky
what
peek
has
first,
come out
but then all of
game-wise,
the reveals will be
and
on
by that
the
I mean
Twitch feed
video
as well,
game-wise,
with, Adam
for
Tripoli
the
back in
fantasy
knocking him off
side
at 4 in the
of
morning for
Warhammer.
him,
Because
so
if you look at
appreciate him.
anything
Yeah,
that is actually
he's doing the
successful,
the Emperor's work right
it's
there.
all tied to
So,
the old
and everybody
world,
should
right?
kind of follow along with
Like
that,
it's
and obviously all
all
the
tied to
information
the
will be
old
up on the
world.
Warhammer community website as
Whereas
well.
if you
So, yeah, it should be
pay attention
it's
to
some good
any
stuff.
of
There's
the
a little
like
something for everybody.
digital
If
media
you're
like games that have come
UK
out for Age of
based and
Sigmar,
you,
like
if
I
you
have
don't want to
not
stay up until 4
heard
in the
of a
morning,
super
it'll all be there
successful
on the
one.
community site
I know they
the
come
day
out,
after, but I'm sure
but
Adam would appreciate
I
some
never
players
hear
who
anybody
do
talk
stuff as well.
about them.
So
I
this
don't know
preview, between
anybody
now
that
and that, we're gonna
plays
be talking
them.
about the Age of Sigmar
I
stuff and
don't
also
see
get to
Games
bring
Workshop even
on,
advertise
people
them.
from the
Whereas
nerd
like
experience as best we can, because again,
Total
we're
War
not trying to
Warhammer
pull them out of
3,
what's going on, but we're gonna try to
Vermintide
keep
2,
y'all apprised of what's happening as best we
the
possibly
new
can. It's
Owl
awesome.
Cat
Let's go ahead
game
and jump
with
into
no, that's
the
a Rogue
first
Trader.
round
Sorry, that's not
clearance. And this is same way on the 40K
that's not
side.
Age of Sigmar
The Age of
or
Sigmar
Fantasy.
journals, they know
Um,
who they're going to be
there's like
facing.
one
So
other
let's start
game that
there.
I'm
Let's talk
thinking
about
of,
Gavin
but I
and
can't think of it
Baron
right
here.
now. But like
Daughter of the King,
Vermintide and
versus the
then
Blades of
Total War
War.
Warhammer 3 or Total
First
War
8
Warhammer
seed, the seed
in general,
determined
that
by the
entire
IDC
franchise
ranking.
are the two big ones that really come to my
Basically,
mind
that's how
that
this was started.
everybody
Anything
seems
to
to
do with
know
quality,
because
the
like even
events
non-Warhammer
or
fans
their
tend to
matchups
play
or
a
whatever,
lot of
but
those
this is
games
about
because
having
they
the
just have good
preview for this
gameplay
particular
and
event.
they're visceral and you like
Yeah, I mean,
they're enjoyable.
maybe worth
And I just
going through
I wish they hadn't
all the
killed off
armies
the
that
old
we've
world
got
when
in
they're gonna have
contention
so
to
much
bring
content
back.
still focused on it.
So we've got two Daughters
And
of
I
Cain,
cannot tell you
players
how
in
much
the
it
running,
bothered
which
me.
is pretty
I don't
cool.
remember
So,
if it was
they
in
might
Total War Warhammer 2
they might be like the favorites,
or
I guess, to take the
if it was
take
in
the
oh
win.
yeah,
They've been
Mordheim.
really strong
Yes,
recently.
you're
They've
right.
been
You're
strong.
right.
A huge shout out also
Um,
at the Kansas City
that
event
I think that
and
was the other one
Chicago.
that I was
Dr.
thinking.
Kane
But I
was
can't
very
remember if
powerful.
it was in Total War
Yeah,
Warhammer 2 or
there's
Total War Warhammer
Blades of Corn
3.
up against one of those
The Games
lists,
Workshop had an ad
and
for
that's a
for
very
that
interesting
game.
list.
I think it
We'll go
was
through the
I think it was
lists in a little bit and kind of
into
have a look at them and pick them apart a bit and
for
maybe
the
talk
Total
about
War
where the
Warhammer 3
strengths lie, where the
game.
weaknesses
They
might
were
lie.
also then
We've
advertising
got
like
Tzeentch in the
also
mix as
play it
well.
on
It's a
the
very magic
tabletop.
heavy
And I'm
Tzeentch
like,
list. There's
you
lots of
cannot do
there's
that.
a lot of magic,
Don't
there's a lot
tell
of endless
people
spells.
that they can go play
There's
the
gonna be
old world with
pyrotechnics
these
basically when they
characters
go to
on the
battle.
tabletop when you have
There's
killed that world and you've
some
started Age of
Seraphon list,
Sigmar.
so it's
Because it is not the
a very
same.
hero heavy
It is
Seraphon
not going to
list.
be
I
the
think,
same. If people
the phrase
go in
Hero
and they expect to
Hammer,
see
if
Karl
you're
Franz and the
familiar with that,
Empire,
I think about
that's not going to
1,200
happen.
of their 2,000 points
So
spent on
don't
heroes.
tell them
And
that
not
Games
Croak,
Workshop, and it just
you know,
it really
there's
irritated
been
me
a
because I felt like it
different
was
way
really
to approach
false
this list than
advertising.
what maybe you've
And
seen out there.
sometimes,
And
occasionally,
I
they
think
do
the
some
Seraphon
very
army generally is
unconsumer-friendly
pretty
things,
strong
and it
across
just
the board. Like,
irks
I think
me.
you've got multiple routes to make
All right,
something
see that a
interesting and
couple of
competitive.
chats have come
Yeah.
in, so let me just.
But it is an interesting list. Like, it's got a Carnosaur in, which you don't see a huge amount of. So I think we can pick that list apart in a little bit and have a look at.
I
what
don't
makes
think
it
they
tick.
can.
There's a Maggotkin army in there as well. The Maggotkin army is
Ragnos is cool. I
definitely
completely
leans
agree.
into
Like there
leans
are
into a
very
theme. It's
cool
got,
elements, and don't get me
14 of
wrong.
the
In Age of
Explorer Black
Sigmar,
Lords,
I
on their
love the
flies.
models. I think they're doing fantastic stuff with some of the models.
It's
I mean, I collect a lot of the Underworld models, which are all set for Age of Sigmar, because I think they're really rad. And I've gotten a number of Age of Sigmar, like, just battle boxes over the time, because, again, I think the models are... But lore-wise, I've just never... It's never pulled me in, whereas the old world is constantly intriguing. Like, I always find out new things about it, and I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. It bums me out that they got rid of it. And, like, I'm really hoping that next year, when they actually start maybe revealing real stuff about the old world returning, that it's legit and it actually feels like that product subject
through this,
again
so I might ask
because
Come on the journey.
questions.
Come on the
I'm
journey.
very,
I'll
very
ask a couple of
concerned
silly
that they're just
questions
gonna
along the
drop
way
the
about
ball on
There's no
that.
bad questions, just bad people, Paul.
And
because during the
I don't
course
know.
of
I'm very
this-
worried.
the
There's a
certain
lot of
campaigns,
nervousness around it.
when you employ certain things and like how you stacked up how to get a better rally and what we'll talk about what that means or whatever are all elements of these lists that a lot of players have incorporated, and it's kind of going to be the onus on the opponents to take them out of the equation. So I guess let's go ahead and
Cool
call
that they're
forward
actually going
our
over
gentlemen to Gavin
the
and
brackets and
Darren's list.
everything
If we can
for the
bring up
event.
Gavin's list here. We'll see what we can do with this.
How many of you guys actually play competitively?
Eddie, I don't know if you want
Like
to run
on
through,
a,
Yeah,
I go
list
to the
here,
official
and
tournaments
maybe
and
speak, about the units as they come up.
you know, rank
Yeah,
up and
absolutely.
everything.
So,
Like, how many of
this
you
is-
actually
this is
do
Gavin's
that?
list. This is one of the Daughters of Cain players.
Sorry if I am a
there's
little
two
sniffly for
different-
anybody
quite
that is just
different,
joining us.
Daughters of
I
Cain
do have
lists.
a little bit of a
one
mild
them.
cold coming on,
The
so
snake's doing snake
if you
stuff.
see me
I
sniffling
mean,
or
they've all got
dabbing
lots
my
of
nose,
snakes.
I
There's,
do
there's two
apologize.
different flavors of snakes to choose. Well, there's lots of snake-themed units basically in a Daughters of Cain list, but this is one that leans quite heavily on Morathi Cain, who is the demigod effectively of the Daughters of Cain, on her way to
Like,
to
that's
full-on
cool.
godhood,
I
if
love
not
that
already
Morathi
attained
is
it.
still around and that
But,
she's a demigod,
effectively, this
but
list hinges around Morathi and
she was, I don't know, I feel like there was so
uh,
much more depth
the
to her
Bloodstalkers
when
basically.
she
So these are
was,
your
you know, the mother
kind
of
of snake
Malekith,
unit that can dish out quite a lot of damage.
and they were
Morathi's got
still
command
just
abilities that
standard Dark
interact
Elf.
with that,
Hadn't like
and,
transformed and bonded with
she can
Asher.
basically make
Whatever
him hit even
specifically
harder than
happened, because I
normally
actually
would.
am not
So
100% sure, but it just
almost has a unique characteristic in the
everything has
Age of
gotten
Sigmar, right?
so
If you haven't
grand,
checked out that
and I
model,
feel like there's
definitely
not a
suggest
focus
going and checking
on
out the model because it'd be
the
glorious,
people living,
to
and I don't
behold
just
is-
mean
is
like
an
the humans, but I just mean like
understatement, with that.
the
But it comes
factions
in
existing.
like two forms.
And I feel like I missed
There's
that
the
element.
one that you're talking about, attaining the godhood, and then there is kind of what looks like a
Right?
Randy
Like some of the
Orton role
rules
incarnation.
are just.
yeah, so when she
There is a
kind of
shame that some of them are
appears
gone.
in game, what you basically get is you have
Yeah,
Morathi. as
I've
she
heard
appears
really
to her
great
mortal
things
followers
about
as a sort of
A Song of
kind
Ice and Fire for that reason.
a beautiful
That
elven
if you're
maiden,
really
almost elven
wanting
queen,
something with rank
and
and
she
file
kind of
and
uses
everything,
that
that
persona
is
to-
actually the.
to talk to the people of the mortal realms and
Plus,
to
the
appear
minis
like
are
she
pretty
might just
cool.
be
Like,
a
I
normal
wish,
mortal elf, but
wish I
kind of
hadn't
we-
gotten
we
burned
know
out
that kind of
specifically
the
on
underneath
Game of
the kind of
Thrones.
the real
Although,
power, the
honestly,
true
the
form
factions
sort of
that I
thing
would
is
be
the Morathi Cain, which is the full
in
kind of
that game would
demi-snake,
probably.
like enormous great monster creature.
Like, I like
which
the
kind of shows
wildlings. I always
true
really
sort
liked
of,
the giant mammoth
sinister,
that came out for
magical shadow power
that.
that kind of
I
lives
don't know.
within
I
the Shadow
think a
Queen.
couple
I
years ago
love
at this
and
point.
there's special
It was
abilities
back
that
when I
it
was
looks
a
like it's
buyer
we see in Warhammer
for a game
40,000
store,
because
and I
they
remember
really
seeing it
do
and going,
work.
"Ooh,
Yeah, so
Uh,
she
got a big
yeah, so
elephant in it.
she
I
was the
want
f-
it."
I think she was the first unit that really had that ability in any Warhammer game. So she has one of her abilities, and she's got multiple. One of the things that makes her a really interesting playing piece is that you
Nice.
can't do more than 3.
Nice. I'm
wounds
really
to
looking
her,
forward to the new.
Morathi Cain monster model. In
I
a
had
single
not
round.
actually looked at the
So not
live
even
stream,
phase, it's just a
and
round. So
whole round.
I
you
suddenly
straight
saw
up
the
can't kill her in
cosplayer
a single turn
as
unless
I'm
you've
assuming
got
an
some
orc or
really
goblin,
wacky weird things. So the number of things that
and
can remove her are very,
that's
very
amazing.
scary.
That is amazing, and
I
I
can't
need
Maybe we'll
more
get there over the
people
course of this.
to
Possibly,
go
but
to
effectively
events
what it
in
means is
cosplay
you
to
can
play the
be
game.
very,
Like, not
you
just
can be very
as
bold
to,
with
you know,
her
dress
for a
up,
couple
but I
of
need them
turns,
to,
knowing
like,
that
physically
nothing
play. Like,
nothing
oh my
too
god,
bad will
look at
happen
the
to her.
mouth.
But,
It's
if
partially
you
on
get
his
too
chest so
stuck
that he
into
can have a
building an
really
enemy
big
army and then
wah
lose
mouth.
that
Ah,
turn
it's
and
so
turn
good.
turn, you start to lose that model
I
confidence.
can't tell what armies
But
they're running.
she's-
It looks
it's a
like, oh, I
really,
think one
really
of them's
powerful piece.
running Daughters of
Obviously,
Cain.
you can't take her off the
Um,
battlefield very quickly. You can
and I
use her to
don't
kind
know
of,
what
you
the
know,
other
take
one is
objective.
running.
She dishes out the pain quite hard as well. She fights pretty
Oh
well.
no,
She's
wait,
very
that's
fast.
not
She's got some magical
Age of
spell
Sigmar
powers in
at
there as
all.
well. So she's just
That's
an
a, isn't that
all-round
not a
really,
40k?
really useful miniature and a great
Is
model.
that not the
So
40k
a lot of
rulebook
players who
on the
have Daughters of
desk?
Cain
So
armies
this
will go,
isn't
well, that model's great.
Age of
the
Sigmar
rules
at
are great.
all
Why would
that
I
we're
not-
watching,
the
even
lore's
though they're
great.
talking
Why
of
would I not build my army around a demigod of shadow and
Weird.
snakes?
Which is going to make it interesting later on in the evening when we talk about Tom McGuan's list, that how it's different. It does not actually have Morathi. Spoiler, not trying to get you here, but it's going to be how different these list takes on these generals are, and they both perform well and won their way here. I've also heard of savvy generals being able to really utilize that 3-wound cap. To basically, you can push.
Yeah, the woolly
both your
mammoths
Morathi
are
models
specifically what I was
into larger
talking about
units and
in
kind
A
of
Song of Ice
break
and
all
Fire.
half of those units' attacks.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Like, I
usually,
really,
right,
really
like,
like
if you- if
them.
you're
I
playing
saw them
almost
in
any
one of
Warhammer
the,
game,
I
you
think,
can
like,
throw
box sets
enough
for the
stuff at anything
wildlings or
and kill
something
it.
like that. I can't
But,
remember
you know,
now.
if you've played,
It was
something
a
like
long time ago.
an orc army like
But they were
Gazrin, you know,
really
you can
cool.
kind of just
And
flip
I
it
have a
right
thing
in.
for big
He's kind of
mammoths
invulnerable,
or
but
elephants.
it'll take you a
And
while
so,
to
like,
chew through it.
Yeah, you got at least a couple.
I
of
think I've
turns.
seen
You
them
can do things
for
go
Lord of the
completely
Rings
south,
too.
with that
But
model
The
being
Easterlings
Morathi's even better
that
than
have
that
them, I can't remember now. I'm not a super
usually
like
that wound
Lord of the
cap is
Ring
done by
buff, so
phase,
or
you could
like nerd, so
potentially
I
go,
don't.
well, I'm gonna do 3
Not
wounds
super
to
familiar
you
with all
in
of the
shooting
like,
phase, and then 3 wounds to
smaller
you in the
factions
combat phase, and then
thing,
3
but I
wounds
think it
to
was the
you in
Easterlings
the
got
psychic
them, and
phase, but
they're
that's
so
not-
cool.
in Age
I
of
love them
Sigmar,
so
you
much.
just straight up can't take more than 3
I
wounds
wish
in a single turn, which is
honestly, I
I know we
wish
spend a lot of
the
time talking about
giants
yeah,
but it's,
in
like,
Age of
super important.
We
Sigmar.
can have a look at some other units. So like
Had more
the,
giant
I'm not going through
elements.
every single unit, but we'll call out the ones that are important. So
Because
there's
that
two
would be
big
really
units of
cool.
Bloodstalkers
That would
in
make
there. So
that would
the three
encourage me
Macharathi
to
and the
buy
Bloodstalkers, that's most of the points,
a
right?
Giants list.
Bloodstalkers are the bow wielding,
If I'm honest.
serpentine elite archers of the Daughters of Cain. They're quite good just like out of the gate, so that they kind of you know, they're quite fast. They're not particularly durable, but they've got 2 wounds each, which means that you can't sort of like, they don't die to a stiff breeze sort of thing. They can kind of stick around a little bit.
Yeah, Cybo Goblin. I completely agree with you about Age of Sigmar feeling a little bit more epic and like Conan, as opposed to pseudo medieval like the old world. And I think that's my biggest problem. Is I like that pseudo medieval element to it. I like it being focused more on why, like,
I understand they also have this army has
the wars make more sense to me to be happening in the old world, because like on Karsteins and the Empire are going to fight because they border each other. So like there's a reason, because you're contesting territory, you're stealing food, you're, you know, eating the citizens because they are your food. Like, there's that kind of stuff happening, so there's reason for the animosity, but like when they broke everything up into these like different planes or worlds or however they're referring to them, it just really took me out, because I'm like, well, what's the point of them invading each other? Like, they have an entire plane that seems infinite to a certain level, seemingly. I don't really know, but like, they seem massive. So why do you need more space? And if it's just to like collect the souls of the people not in your own world, I don't know, that just gets tedious, I guess, or tiresome over the time, because if that's what everybody's doing, well, I don't know, that seems like just a cop-out in regards to motivation on Games Workshop's part, which is the biggest shame. Like, I feel like they have not really written a good story for Age of Sigmar. And this is coming from somebody who has like not actually looked into the actual plot of Age of Sigmar. This is coming purely from a outside perspective looking in, going, this doesn't appeal to me, so I am not going to invest in it beyond just buying some cool miniatures because I can't say plastic crack. Just, it's something that I have a hard time with. But yeah, it's just,
I don't know, maybe a Kellian eel or something like that, or one of
the
has it? Which each individual model is very powerful and can output quite a lot of damage. So even 1/6, right, would be quite cool when you get that model back.
Knock knock, Winston.
Oops,
we like
sorry,
a
we've got a little bit of an ad first.
Loving the detail.
Right?
I don't have ad blocker.
Villain, but with a sensitive side.
It's a nice combo.
You like the fantasy angle?
I could see it so clearly.
Right, but it's in the future.
Boom!
Wait, are you gaming? On a Chroma?
I'm just getting into character.
Oh, I respect the process.
Come on, let's get through this ad. Sorry, I don't have ad blocker.
Red light, green light, go.
And here it goes. It's
okay,
going
there
wild.
we go.
Of course, the preview today is in line with the grand
All right, I don't think we
narrative
actually
finale
missed anything.
event,
I think they're just
which is
going
happening
through
in
the
New
where
Mexico
everybody
out
is,
in
and
the
the
US.
chat is
Some of you might have
freaking
seen
out
some of the
because they want to
gaming
see a bunch of
streams.
things. So we
Um,
are good. We are
about now,
good.
or
Thank
maybe
you
just a few minutes ago,
for
there was
thank
a
you, Red
sort of
Crane, for actually
identical,
telling me that the
preview
reveal
to
stream
this
was
being run
happening.
by Eddie,
I was
and,
not
Mike
paying
Grant,
attention.
and
I
so
was just
preview that's
gabbing
gone.
on about the old world.
So, meanwhile, the chat has gone wild. Where are some of the people calling in from? We've got Indiana, South Africa, Adelaide, Australia, and it's the middle of the afternoon. What a perfect time for you. Tokyo, Kingsport, Tennessee? TN, is TN Tennessee? I have no idea. My American state knowledge is not the best. Winnipeg in Canada, South Carolina.
Yeah, there we
Germany,
go. We'll do full
Hive
screen. We don't
City,
really need to
apparently,
see
in
their
Winnipeg.
chat
It is
flying by.
lovely
There
to
we
have you
go.
all with us. It's one of my favourite things, genuinely. Oh, somebody from Southampton. That's right down the road from where I grew up. Alex, while the chat is
You know
filling
what?
up
While
and
they're
we're getting
telling
ready
them
to
where
kick this off
they're
properly,
from, why
have
don't you guys tell me
done
where you're
any
from?
hobbying
We'll do
lately?
the
What's
same
your
thing.
Warhammer sort of hobby time been filled with?
Yeah, no, that's very good. I'm glad we didn't miss it. I was not paying attention to the time. I was literally just gabbing on, which honestly can happen.
Well, that's a good question.
With me quite a lot.
So most recently, my hobby activity has been Dark Angels, which is probably no surprise to anybody who knows me. But it's been,
I've been working on my
Horus
orcs.
Heresy era Dark Angels this time around.
I have been really
So,
enjoying working on my
I've got a good
orcs.
friend called Mark. And,
I actually have some of them here.
We sort of have like roughly every half a year or so, like a big game. And so we had a crazy arms race for the last few weeks, sort of building up to this big
Working
battle, which
on my
I duly
little
won, more through
From
luck
like
than
orcs.
skill, I have to
I'm
say.
actually so I don't
and
know if
he's
any of
doing
you
Dark
guys.
Angels as well, but with a
Ooh,
sort of,
cool! We've got some people from
Caliban-like
Indiana
rebellion
and
theme
Australia.
going on.
What
So,
time
it
is
was
it
proper
right now
Dark
for
Angels
you in
and Dark Angels
Australia?
action, and the Dark
Is it
Angels
like
won,
super
hooray!
early or super late?
Yes,
I actually
if you're
have
doing
no
hobby,
idea.
there maybe
Michigan
you're,
and
you're
Pennsylvania,
hobbying
Texas,
as you watch. Let us know what you're up to.
Washington,
That would be
woo!
good to see.
From
I did
Durham?
hear,
Oh my
before we
gosh,
go
I
much
love
further,
Durham.
it's
I've
nice,
been there a couple of
hearing all these
times.
people tuning in,
Great.
that
Ooh, from
somebody,
Alberta,
I think his name is
Canada?
Bertie, my friend
That's
Annie was telling
cool.
me
Is
that
it
he's
snowing
getting
up there
married
for
later
you
this
yet? I
morning,
imagine it
and
must
he's
be, right?
woken up early to tune in for the stream. So
it's 5
good luck
p.m.
with
Okay,
the
that's not
wedding,
too
and
bad,
also
actually.
Welcome to the stream.
Not too bad at all.
Yeah, right. So, we are approaching about
Orkland?
10,000
Yes, I
people,
love
which is
it.
lovely.
Officially get it
and there's
changed
lots
to
of people still
Orkland.
calling in. Somebody's painting a Spartan
California
tank
and
last
Buffalo,
night.
New
Yes, so
York,
I've got
Germany.
the Spartan tank still on its frames
Nice.
that came in that big horror
Bay
Seriously
Area.
box.
Whoop, whoop.
I built a Predator because I thought that would be quicker, and so got a
Buff.
Predator sort of speed
Red
built and
Bluff,
painted ready for the
nice.
game.
Welcome, everybody.
I haven't
Welcome,
braved the
welcome,
Spartan
welcome
tank
to
yet.
the stream.
I'm more of a speed painter.
I'm so glad
than
that you
like
guys are all
pro
here
builder, and some of
so
those
that we
bigger
could
kits
squeal
that
about
come
all
into
of the cool miniatures that I hope we get revealed to us today.
Oh, yeah.
Purely to see.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry for you, those of you in the UK where it's
It's a big
4
boy,
a.m.
right?
Like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is insane. I mean, I know
absolutely.
it's
But I love
because
it.
this event is happening in mountain
fantastic.
time in the US.
Okay,
So you guys got screwed.
I think
with timing.
apparently, Alex,
I am so
you might need
sorry.
to boom more into your mic. The chat, they want to hear your dulcet tones more powerfully. So, if you're just joining us, allow me to welcome you for the first time. This is, of course, the Warhammer Preview online for the Grand Narrative Finale.
Terrible name, by the way.
2022.
Like,
it's, if you
the
don't know
name
what
of
the
this
Grand
live stream was
Narrative Finale
just
it's the
not the
culmination
best.
of loads of fantastic games of Warhammer 40,000 and Warhammer Age of Sigmar and all the other sorts of Warhammer that have been going on all across the United States of America in these amazing events. And they're
Somebody
all
made an
in this
Orkland
fantastic
Raiders
venue in New
Blood
Mexico,
Bowl team. That
playing
is
games
so
all weekend long.
perfect.
I know lots of my friends on that side of the pond are.
It's sadly
flocking
they're
to
no
this
longer
event
they're
to
no
roll
longer
dice
from.
and just have great fun.
I think the
they've
Raiders
had a
moved to
preview there,
Vegas now.
and so
Isn't
we're
that
now
where they're-
bringing
I think they're-
all
that's
of
where
that
their, like,
information
now the
to you
hometown is.
live wherever you
shame.
are
That's a
across the
shame.
world. Okay.
Dude, World Leader stuff would be
think
great. I would
might be
so
giving
love
a
to
nod
see some
from
World
Raph.
Leader
I should
stuff.
introduce the third invisible member of our stream, of course, Raph, the tech priest with all the buttons.
Oh, I mean,
and, thank you to
Jonathan,
Notley in the chat, the
not to
Moderati
encourage
who will
bad
be
behaviors,
helping
but I
keep
would just
everything
I would
in
have
line.
a small amount.
Let us
Don't like
begin
go
with
crazy,
with
but like
Warhammer 40,000.
In the blood-slit halls of our legion stand cages of hellish brass. Within these infernal chambers, esoteric rituals and torturous augmentations bind an octet of demons to a raging berserker.
I'm liking the voice, liking the voice.
The screaming stops and the candidate emerges. It is magnificent.
Oh, they are pretty. Oh, so angry. They look great. Oh, I love all of the spikes with helmets on the backs of the jump packs. Or the. Oh, they look good too. I have some original lead juggernauts, and I think, oh man, I might have to put that on the potential list of something to actually paint on the channel and or a live stream at some point. Because holy cow, those look good. Okay, what do you guys think?
World Eater goodness.
Right, they are looking.
So there's quite a lot to take in
amazing.
there. Behind us, you can see the first of these kits. Should we?
You only own a
talk
single
about what these
Space
are?
Marine?
What
That is
are the
impressive.
Eight-bound, Alex?
Well, the World Eaters are renowned for being
I like,
particularly vicious and brutal in combat. Now imagine somebody.
I like
poked
this guy a
some
lot.
Big
Like, I
syringes
like
into
that.
the back of the butcher's nails that are in your head.
It's so good. I
locked you
do
in a box
love
that was covered in skulls,
helmets
and then forced 8
shoved
demons
onto
inside
those
of you.
spikes.
So quite literally bound 8 demons.
They look
inside.
amazing.
So, as the name suggests, and the World Eater then has to kind of
Yeah,
fight
right?
for
They're looking
supremacy over
pretty
their form.
darn
So
sick.
sometimes
I am
they
so glad
disappear,
they are
sometimes
not
turn into a
disappointing
chaos
us, and they're
spawn.
actually giving us some really.
They're probably the lucky ones because, as you can see from these fellas, they are incredibly
Yeah, I cannot get
angry.
over
So
like
when
this
they
guy's
finally emerge
face.
from
I
that
love
box,
the
this is
details
what
on
we
his
get.
forehead.
It's pretty cool. There's a
Like, I don't know,
really
there's just something
interesting
so
thing
cool
sort
to
of
me about that.
this binding demons into mortal forms. You know, it increases the strength enormously, but you know, it has the potential to like absolutely ruin
There's
and
a lot of
ravage the
great
form here.
detail
But these guys just look incredibly hench. So these are 8-bound, and I think in the video we saw that the 8-bound kit has 2 sort of options or sides to it.
Yes.
Ooh,
so these are
okay.
exalted 8-bound.
I also really enjoy this, man. Look at all of those teeth
so
around him.
In the initial 8-bound,
his
they've had to
toes.
fight for supremacy with these 8 demons.
So good.
And so they've got
I love
some
all of
some
their
benefits,
toes. I'm now
but
looking
if
at all
you've
of their little
survived long
boots.
enough as an
And
8-bound,
I love that
and
he
you've
just
found a
completely
sort of
just
equilibrium
no.
with your
I'm not
demons,
having
all
shoes
9
at all.
become
I'm gonna run
sort of a
barefoot.
conglomerated
It's
being
like
now,
Matt
you can see
Riddle
from these
in
guys. They are
WWE. He's like, I'm gonna
certainly
wrestle
up the
barefoot.
game.
There's
They're
nothing
sort
you
of
can do to stop me.
more in the line of possessed.
But I love that the
than
rest of the
like a
guys all have
regular
their little
world
claws
Yeah, you
sticking
can
out
sort
of their
of see some of those
booties.
visual clues, can't
Yeah.
you? The top left, his arm is distended into sort of like a big
Yes,
demonic
more
claw, and
corn,
it's
less
hard to
flakes,
miss
indeed.
The demonic sort of his feet have burst through his Space Marine sort of power armor, haven't they?
Right?
Yeah, these look amazing.
It is kind of funny that they're
I've
calling
heard
them
them
8-bound and
described
only
as
showing 3.
intertwined souls no
It
longer
is
fight for control, but instead
It's
fight
because they
in a
tie too much stuff to
rage-filled
numbers for
harmony.
chaos.
If rage can ever be harmonious, these guys have found it.
I wonder if they're gonna run in squads of 8 specifically.
So, in terms of what they bring to a World Eater's army, obviously these are super powerful combat unit, right?
Yes, that's it. They obviously don't want to shoot from range. They've got no guns. It's all combat all of the time. These guys are probably one of the best combat units in the game. They are big, they are strong, they are brutal, and you've just got to look at those weapons and know they are going to carve their way across the battlefield.
Yeah, so the exalted 8-bound, you can see on the ones on either side.
Oh, is that why they're actually called 8-bound? I had missed that when I was probably talking over them. So that's cool that they
anyone vehicles included.
They each have 8 demons bound into their mortal form. That's cool.
Oh no, that's awesome. But these weren't the only sort of cool new thing
Mark,
we saw
I
in
believe that they are coming out
video.
after
What
the
on
Imperial
earth
Guard.
are jackals.
These are sort of a cultist equivalent. So
I do like that they're
cultists
giving
typically follow around various
specific
warbands, etc.
World
The
Eater
jackals
/
are a
Corn
World Eaters
cultists
specific.
in the same way
These
that
guys, in the same
you
way
end up
as most things corny, have decided to.
I know they're not
eschew
exactly the
firearms
same, and you can
and
still
have
run
gone
like
totally
cultist
combat.
Death Guard, but because you get the pocketwalkers, like I feel like
they
it's
really
a
do look
that vibe,
unutterably
and I appreciate
savage,
that.
don't they?
They do feel actually
there's
very
quite a lot of thinking,
reminiscent to me
what's the
of
story with these big,
some of the cultists
sort
that
of
you
tanks?
got.
It almost looks like tanks of blood.
Or I guess
on
the
their back.
Yes, so on the back
guardsmen.
they've got
So they're way more
these
buff
tanks
than
full of
them.
various chemicals, stims,
But it kind of reminds me of
friends
the
on, that kind of thing,
Chaos
to make them
Guardsmen that you get
exceptionally
in
hitty. But
Blackstone Fortress.
they've got a little
I believe
secret
there were some
ingredient.
cultists in
Each
there
one
though
contains
too. I
8
don't remember.
drops
I haven't
of
looked at my
World Eater blood
miniatures
just
from
for
those
that
sets
that
in
extra
such a long
boost.
time.
So they're
But
sort
I
of
feel like there were also some like
bound
really
in a way
cool
to the,
Chaos
the
cultists
World
that
Eaters Legion
Yes.
had
in
a
the same
very
way.
similar-ish
That's really cool.
vibe
There's
to
the-
this. Although
in
I
terms
do
of
love
these, there's a
like,
few things
this
to point
piece
out.
right
I
here.
suppose the
I
first
love
is
a good banner.
if you look on the
Like a-
left-hand side of this
You have a good banner
array, you can
with
see
your
one
team
that is
in it.
sort of bigger and
Perfect
oh,
for
there you
me.
go.
It's one of the things
That's
that I
another
actually
picture.
really
So
liked
this is
about the
a
old world.
Dishonored, which is
that everybody
an
had banners.
abhuman amongst the jackals, a bigger, more powerful, lumbering sort of unit champion, if you like.
Like if they made a terrain piece, you mean like a tower terrain piece with the 8 points? That would be cool. Actually, I would love
the
that.
biggest and nastiest in the mob. I think the thing that's really nice about these is we've seen quite a lot of good.
I love
cultist
the
goodness, haven't
skulls
we,
within the ball.
sort of the Chaos Space Marines, but these really feel like they're just absolutely dialed into the sort of core of what makes the World Eater special.
That's exactly
Yeah, I
it.
completely agree with you, Mark. I
So
love seeing all
it's
of the
all
unique
that
models with some of the
combat goodness
armies.
them,
Like,
all the
if they're going to
weapons,
give
they're
us
very reminiscent
such
of
really
the
high
World
detail
Eaters
quality miniatures,
themselves,
I'd love to see them
but in a
diversify a
mortal
bit
form.
more
Yeah,
and
which is
actually
what you
do
want
this
out
kind of
of
thing
World
where we're
Eaters
giving you.
cultists.
Yeah, they've done a
Here are
really
some
nice
Corn
job,
specific
the
cultists.
sort of
Here are
Citadel,
some Nurgle specific.
studio
When we
team
eventually get
with
World Eaters,
enough
or not World Eaters,
cues
that's
that
what we're looking
you
at
can
right
see
now.
who they should be fighting alongside.
Emperor's
but they're
Children.
still their
I
distinct
want some
own
of
thing.
that. Like,
love
I
them. I think
want
they're
to also
fantastic.
see some like
and you can sort of imagine them being
Thousand
hurled
Suns
at the enemy
specific.
as
Oh,
like
that'd be
almost like a
cool.
meat
Like
shield,
Zingian
right, to
specific
soak
ones
up
would be
bolt
neat.
rounds
They've got a
and
bunch of
last
feathers
cannon
or
shots and
something.
things while
Oh,
the,
I'd have
the
so much fun
legionnaires,
painting that.
Get to it. Fantastic. These were not alone. Was also we
This
saw
is the guy that I'm
Lord
like
Juggernaut.
actually very excited for. Look at that
He's looking
helmet.
particularly brutal.
Oh, that
and
is
he's got that
so good.
on his forehead. He's got the
Like,
symbol
I mean,
of
I like
corn
actually
sort of
the
scarred in.
unhelmeted version too, because
yeah, absolutely. So
World
this
Eaters
is-
always get really cool
We've previously
face mounts and everything.
previewed the
if they are just like
Lord
screaming, but like I
Invocatus, and
do
this is from the
dig
same kit, so there's
this
options
helmet
in
so
there.
much, and
Should
they-
you rather have
so good in
your,
armor. I really actually
your Lord just be a
love
regular
the
Lord rather than the Lord
that they
Invocatus.
got
Here
on
you
this
go.
brassy color tone.
And as you pointed out, so there's the option for
I can't
the,
wait to compare this
unhelmeted
guy
head, this
to
helmeted
my
head with
old
the,
lead models. I
sort
have
of iconic World
so
Eaters sort of corn.
I have some
sort of crest. It also
Juggernauts.
made that Lord Invocatus that
I don't
we've
remember
shown,
if it was from Age of
I think it was the
Sigmar or
last
not Age of
preview we
Sigmar.
did.
Sorry,
Yes.
if it was from Warhammer
And it is
C,
somebody
because
in
I
the chat has
did.
pointed out,
The only army
it's
I ever
a bit of a
started
glow up
before the
from,
old world disappeared
when I
was a
about
Chaos Army,
14 or 15,
and I
think
definitely
the
got
Metal
some
Corn,
Juggernauts, I believe,
Lord on Juggernaut
in a
came
set.
out. It was about the
So I don't
weight
know
of
if they
a
were
small
specifically the
child.
40k ones. I think they were
Massive
the.
piece of metal.
I think they just have
And,
corn demons riding
yeah,
them.
it's all those sort
But
of same classic look.
I
and
really
feel,
like seeing the
but
evolution of the
brought,
Juggernaut
to
model
life.
because it's
And
it's
tell me I didn't say
fascinating.
Lord
Like it's just
Avocado,
so
somebody
cool
in the
to
chat
the
says,
transition from like where it
that's
started and
potentially a
where
very
it is
good nickname.
now.
I am
in
really
glorious,
mindful,
like,
chat,
high
that it's
def.
very late or early, depending on which way you look at it, and I'm.
I
deeply
am
dreading,
too. I really I have this
sort of
theory
combining my
that the
words in some
firstborn are
unnatural
going to
fashion.
like defect in
much
some
like
way.
the unnatural fashion in
Because
which
when
flesh
10th
and
hits,
demon
like,
and metal have
maybe
been
if they
combined with
do
these.
end up doing
And
some
of
sort of
course,
split, the
World
cover
Eaters
looks
would
cool.
not be complete without
Not bad.
a new codex, and here is the cover. What do you make of it?
It's absolutely glorious. It's exactly what you would want. You've got
guys think
a
you
big
like the
fella in
cover?
the front with a pair of axes. You've got skulls everywhere.
Yeah, all the
In
chapters
fact,
seem
there's
love.
one.
I
They're
completely agree.
walking on a
I completely
carpet.
agree. All
one
chapters
poor
should
little
definitely
fella
get some
offering
love.
up a skull
It's hard for
to
them
a
to like
World Eaters
produce
Space
that
Marine
many
who is paying
miniatures.
him no heed
That's
whatsoever.
like
The chat has gone wild for this.
So-
Lots of people really liking it.
That's such a shame, right?
I think this is amazing. On a personal level, it's answered a question I've wondered since I was but a.
Oh, I can
a
see
young
them going
lad,
over to the
which is
30k.
why
Oh, but what I
do,
was saying
World
about
Eaters
the firstborn and what I
sometimes
think is
have
going to
their
happen
arms
to them,
bare?
I think they may end up
Look
like
at the
defecting because they
muscles
just
on this
disagree
dude.
with the
There's
Primaris.
no way
They've kind of
he's
been setting
fitting
that up
back
from my
into his
understanding a
power
little
armor.
bit in the books of like.
It's amazing. Even the
or
sides
actually
of
even the
his sort of
custodians,
cornate
because I know the
crest on his
custodians
helmet
have
look
been like
really
going
dangerous.
against the Space Marines in some instances
And you might not be
too,
able to see it. I've
because
had a really good look at this cover.
I mean, I'm not really that
but if you look
surprised. I
down
think
at the
there's going to
bottom
be some
left,
disagreements
there
there
is,
about philosophy
so
and
the
everything going down.
cover that,
But like,
sort
I
of
definitely feel
imposed.
like we're
And at
going
the bottom
towards
left,
another
he
civil
is the
war, and I
wrongest
don't know if
looking
it's going to
Chaos Space
be
Marine you've ever seen in your entire life.
as
I can only imagine
straightforward and cut and dry as
Oh yes, yeah,
Exalted.
some of
maybe.
these guys
Part
have
of the
fallen to
background,
chaos.
yeah,
Like, I
fantastic.
feel like we're going to see a
there's just something
split in
truly insane and
how
marvelous
the
about
Emperor's
the,
viewed, but
the
both
World
sides are
Eaters
going to
Legion.
still consider
I can
themselves
see why they have so
impure.
many fans.
I don't know
Somebody
how
in
they'll
chat saying,
differentiate it
"When is the
specifically,
codex
but it'd be an
coming?"
interesting like
I'm
divide.
hamstrung by the fact that I haven't got that in front of me.
It's going to be
Also,
very
we don't
interesting.
typically talk about exactly when. All I can say is fairly soon. And this is the sort of gloriousness you can expect. Let's not talk about the fact that the Dark Angels on the right-hand side of the screen are in lots of trouble. Let's talk about this
poor Dark
amazing
Angels,
array
no.
of World Eaters.
It's fine. They'll be okay.
All brought together for the first time in their proper
Dude,
own
they do
big
look great
codex.
together,
It's going to
don't
be
they?
amazing.
And there's
Do we
the
see
Lord
anything like in the
Invocatus,
background
alternate
that we
build for
haven't
that
seen?
Lord and
fantastic.
Juggernaut?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
so-
There
not
on the right hand side.
sure. I
The
do
aesthetic difference there being like his face is like
like this big
melded
guy.
with his armor. It's
Yes.
like a
I don't
sort of a
remember
leering
specifically that
demonic
model,
visage.
but I'm
And his
also don't know if
Juggernaut
it's like
has
possibly a
a
fourth world model.
chainsword for a horn.
Yes, that's pretty awesome. A little note
Oh,
also, there's
you know,
some
that's
things
that's a
in this
fair
that,
guess that Call will
answer a few
perfect the
questions if
Rubicon
you'd,
process. I
wondered
could see
about what
that.
else might
Definitely
be
could be
inside the
tied to
codex.
him for sure.
The
I
corner
mean,
of
he
the
still
skulls
has
in the
all the
background, there's gonna
GC
be, rules
from
for
all the
that.
various Primarchs, including the Chaos
And
ones too. So they could
obviously,
even do some stuff
the
with that
Primarch of the
potentially.
Legion,
Like,
Angron,
it's gonna be very
was there.
interesting to see what they actually do with
and
10th
then
and where they're
just
gonna
more
take the
goodness,
story. Especially considering
I saw this
how
picture
hard they've
when we were-
retconned some
we had a little
stuff
bit of a
in
chat
their own
about this
books.
preview yesterday.
Which seems like a little
I
bit of an oversight on their
really
part,
like
but you know, who
Chaos
knows?
Space Marine
Whatever.
Terminators. It's the tusks, I think, that do it.
Yeah, the Prince model is.
There's a great flow to them. You can feel like a sense of presence as if they are stalking towards you.
I love their
They're not
tusks. They're so
running,
long.
I suppose World Eater ones would run. But it's almost like that that impending doom to them.
I admit, I do really love these scenes that GW sets up to entice me to want to buy all of their
these
cool
are
miniatures.
the same Kazakin which were in the Kill Team box set that released recently. I think they just painted it in a different colour. That was quite a lot of World Eater's goodness. Fantastic. Of course,
I'm not surprised by that we're going to get Angron fighting the lion.
The 41st Millennium shortly with more information. But let's just take a little bit of a detour, perhaps into the mortal realms.
Oh.
So, for a while now, people have been wondering what the next battle tomes coming up for Warhammer Age of Sigmar
Unceremoniously, with no
are.
trailer, just
And,
bam, Beasts of
next
Chaos.
on
There
the
you go,
horizon
guys. That's what you're
is
getting.
Chaos Battle Tome Beasts of Chaos. What can people expect?
Improved stat lines, basically conglomerating everything together. You've got Sangors, you've got all your different
Whenever I feel
Beasters,
so
Gravespawn,
bad
Quake
for the
Ray,
hosts, whenever they
everything
have
like
to
that.
go in and
It's all
talk about
been,
like
sort of
just a
updated
book
for
update
Age of Sigmar
or
3rd
something
edition,
that
and
is
it's all
probably
packed into
not
this battle
as
tome.
thrilling
Incredible.
to
And I suppose like
as many
every,
people on the
beast
stream and
herd,
everything.
they need somebody to lead them.
Especially considering I assume this stream is predominantly... Okay, we're actually getting a trailer. Thank goodness. Because I thought it was weird that they just threw up a random codex. I am intrigued by this goat. Alright. I'm liking the headpiece. I like the hooves. I like the decapitated head. He looks cool. See, in this, I complain a lot about Games Workshop putting too many horns
Well, aside from
on the
video
heads
being
of their
absolutely
Age of
amazing
Sigmar
and very
models.
funny, it also
This is
unveiled
acceptable
a awesome new,
because
plastic
he's an
beast
actual
lord for
goat
the,
man, and he
Beasts
should
of
have
Chaos,
horns. This is
who
what you could do at Games Workshop.
That sort of perfect leader for your Beasts of Chaos army.
He's a particularly vicious-looking chap.
And I think
Looks
we may
good.
have
I
a little
love-
preview of some rules.
Yes.
I really like his stance. I don't know what
you
about it,
mentioned
but
that
like
the
I know because
rules
it's just an
have
up
been,
pose, you
revised
know.
for the
But
new
like there's
battle
something
tome,
about it
and
that I
you
just
get a
really,
sense
really like.
of what's changed, I guess.
Yep. So this guy, he can also.
I am
allow
so
the
glad that you
units with
guys
him
are
to
excited
attack,
about the Beasts
one
of
after the
Chaos
other.
book.
So combined with his new ability to add hit rolls and wound rolls.
Right?
for
I
any
actually
Beasts of
think he
Chaos,
does look kind of old world,
units
which
within
is nice
12
to
inches
see.
of
Like
him.
I do
He's gonna
wonder
be very
as we go
dangerous for enemy
forward
heroes.
and we get closer to
Yeah,
2023
absolutely.
and they start talking
and
about the old,
Beasts of Chaos,
whether or not we're going to see some of the
sort
Age of
of
Sigmar
Warhammer,
models start to
concepts, aren't they?
lean a
These
little
sort
bit
of,
like they are from the old
feral
world in the same way that the
monstrous
Cursed
creatures
City
who
ones
sort of
did.
live out in the wild
Because
and
when those
are just
first came
determined
out,
to
I really
throw
thought we were
down,
already returning.
sort of all
Like
of the
it took me
trappings of
a
order.
solid while to realize,
but it is
oh
fair to
right,
say
there's an
that
Age
the
of
Beasts of
Sigmar logo
Chaos,
on that. It's not
are
actually
the
tied to the
only
old
battle
world
tome
because
on
they
the
just really
horizon. In
felt
fact,
like that,
they will
and this
be
guy has
followed
a
in
little bit of a
quick
similar
succession
vibe.
by these guys. There's been quite a lot of shouting for them in the chat, so fear not.
Cool.
The
We're also
Gloomspite
getting
Gits
Gloom
have
Glitz.
not been
Or
forgotten.
Gloomspite Gits.
And
Sorry, I cannot
a
read
battle tome,
or speak,
revising
apparently.
all of their rules and giving you all of the Gloomspite goodness that you could possibly hope for.
I wonder if they're going to show also like because so we just saw
There's been a bit
Chaos.
of a
This is
stat increase
Destruction. I
for
wonder if we're going to
lot
get
of the bits, I
a.
believe.
Yes, yeah.
What are
So
the other
I've heard
two?
that they've been.
Like,
I think believe the word
I'm
is
blanking
buffed
on
in
what
a
they
few
are.
different ways. So it should be good to see. But of course, the thing
It's
that
not
everybody
important.
gets
I don't
excited
remember what they
about
are, but
is,
you guys
are there
probably
any
do. You
models
can tell me in the
coming
chat if you
for,
want to.
You know, the battle tomes and
But
the
otherwise, it's
codexes
really
and
not
that
that
sort of thing. And
I wonder if we're
yes,
gonna get
there
a
are,
miniature
but
for,
a somewhat surprising quarter. Raph, show us what's coming.
Yes, good. We got those on maybe? Is that what this is implying? Yes! Wolf Riders! That's cool. Honestly, they look pretty great. I feel like these are just the wolves from Cursed City without the damage. They're probably not. They're probably very different. But it'd be funny. Yeah, the figure on the cover is not, like, super amazing. Oh, I like his hat. Got a good hat.
So these
I like
are
them.
the Snarlfang Riders, and they are simply an amazing new plastic kit. on the horizon.
I feel
Can you
like,
sort of
is
give
it
us
just
any
me,
insight,
or do
Alex?
the goblins feel like they're a little bit too,
perfect
like,
sort of reimagining
big
of the old Wolf Riders
on them? Maybe it's just
Yes,
because
very
they...
reminiscent of those
Maybe it's just because of the
classic models.
shields and the giant wolf
They're
tail
part of the Git mobs,
top
and
knots.
so when
But, like,
the goblins decided to
no, their feet
go
are
their
pretty
own ways,
pretty up there.
The Bad Moons.
I'm
went
just
for
getting a weird
caverns and
scale
deep places.
problem
The
here.
spider grots disappeared into the jungles and kind of befriended all the spiders that wanted to eat them.
Befriended quotation marks.
Wolf
These
Riders!
fellas decided to
I completely agree.
make the
Oh
best
my
of
god,
it
I
out
just
in the
noticed the
open sort of
texture on that
plains of
banner.
the
That
realms.
is freaking rad.
And as part of that, you often need to get from place A
Age
to
of
place
Sigmar
B
gets the
pretty
best
fast,
banners and
a
the
wolf
best
is
shield.
ideal for that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
just
great. You were telling
flat
me
down,
beforehand.
they just do.
They have a unique perspective on the.
Ooh, they do
sort
kind of look like the Lord of
Howling
the
at the
Rings
Moon
figures.
concept
They're
as well,
probably
right?
based off of like the same
so whilst
basic
they,
premise, you
give
know. They're
respect
doing
to
all of
Bad
these
Moon,
things, I think,
as
in like
all
3D
grots
at
must
this
do.
point. So there's probably
They
just a lot of
also,
like,
being
here
out
is
on
the
plains,
base model
you
of
often
our
see
wolf
the light of
sculpt.
Hish.
Okay, here's our fur texture. Let's apply that, and then we'll update it
And-
to
and
make
that's
it
what
feel
they,
either a little bit more grungy or
frazzle
whatever, and then
is
they'll
what they call
tweak
it.
their Goblin Rider, stick it
and
on
that's
top, and
the
then
fear
do a
that
bunch of
obviously
things. But it's
being
like
out, you're being
they can
burnt by that
definitely like
light,
copy
and,
paste some
the
things,
goblins
and
are
I would
massive
not be
fan of it.
surprised
No,
if
I
the
imagine
wolf
not.
like
to talk about
basic
the
shape
the
was one
miniatures
of
for a
them.
moment. You mentioned sort of that callback to the classic Wolf Riders, or even sort of.
Oh, is that what it is? Am I
was
just used to like a really, really
cavalry back in the
small
really
version
old
of a
Dogs of War
goblin,
days?
and these are
sort
just
of a
slightly
wonderful
bigger
bringing
boys?
together of all of those
It's
ideas.
like, right, they do
and,
feel kind of big on the backs of those
rejuvenating
wolves.
it. They're just incredible. And also,
I guess they're just
somebody in the
normal
chat
wolves, and they're not like dire
has
wolves.
made
Maybe
my
that's
favourite,
where I'm
pun of the
getting
day when he
slightly
said Rough
crossed in my
Riders.
like scale
That
problem
truly
here.
is,
Because I'm expecting these to be
this time
dire
of
wolves,
night /
like
morning.
2
In
times
terms of
larger,
rules,
and
they're
really
apparently
make
not
the
too
goblins
shabby.
look small.
What's your shtick here?
I just think would look cooler.
So it's
I like scale
as it says
differences.
there,
If you
add
guys
1
haven't
hit rolls
realized
for
this.
attacks made with this unit's
It's a big
slavering
deal for me.
jaws.
I like building
So
various
basically,
heights in my
if,
army. I
an
like
enemy has previously
really big
been wounded,
juxtapositions
the
between
wolves
like
can smell
a
the blood
really
in the
large
air,
creature next to a very
and
small
they go
creature.
into a bit of a frenzy.
Something about it appeals
Sounds
to me.
really good to me. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, they did have an
so
Underworlds team of these
I think it's
guys.
fair to
I don't think I
say
got
that
that
it's
set.
There's exciting things on the horizon for the Mortal Realms, but a lot of people have been wondering.
All right,
what's coming
Order.
next.
Order
And
was
here
what the
is,
word I was
essentially,
trying to think of, and
obviously,
Death was the other one I was
army
trying to
box
think
for
of. Thank
Slaves of
you,
Darkness,
Stream, for
has
filling that in.
recently dropped.
Yep.
I saw Charles in my office excitedly opening his. I think it was Wednesday.
You guys excited about
Beasts
the
of Chaos
roadmap
and the
for
On
those of you that
Horizon.
actually
Gloom's
play
might
Age of
get,
Sigmar?
coming in.
Seems like
fast
you've got a lot
behind.
of chaos coming your way,
In
which
the
is kind of
spring, there
exciting.
will be 5 more battle tomes following up. There's an Order battle tome followed by 2 Chaos battle tomes and then 2 Death battle tomes. And so you're in for like a 6 months of just fantastic releases, all for the Mortal Realms.
Oh, that makes
battle
sense. Then it's
tomes and rules
referencing
for your
Hobgoblins.
models, all sort of
Warhammer
slamming
Fantasy.
in soon. We'll let you speculate for now on what you think they might be. But it's an exciting time if you're enjoying the Era of the Beast and the Mortal Realms in general. I think this brings us back to us. Boom, here we are. So
What
we're
edition
approaching the
are they
halfway
actually on
point
for
of
Age of
this
Sigmar
preview.
right now?
There have been some great things. There's still people being
second or
excited about the
third?
World Eaters in the chat.
Because like
which
they
I have
never actually
massive respect for.
do a good job
we are
of explaining
not
it.
quite
I feel like
done,
with that one, I feel like it's always
with
a little
the Gits,
lost.
though.
I don't
but
remember
maybe
what the
from
year
a
of
different
the
direction. Let's have a look at the Underworlds.
of the Beast is. Underworlds, yay, yay! More goblins! Third. Okay, cool, awesome. Thank you, the Jester. I love these boys. Oh my god, that squig is awesome! That mushroom is great! I like the guy with the squig on a stick. Show him again. Okay, this is a set I'm definitely gonna be getting. King of the Loons. I like him. Show me the guy. Nope, that's not him. But I do love that very grumpy looking squig. He's got a squig in a slingshot. That's amazing. He's got him on a stick. Yep. So good. Glory awaits the court of the Loom
Whenever
King.
we do one of these previews, there
Or
is
the
always
Loon King.
something that steals the show.
Yes.
And judging by the way the chat has reacted, I've got a feeling it might well be these guys, and in
do
particular,
love them.
the Squig on a Stick.
Yes.
Squig on a stick!
So here we have Grincrack's Loon Court, which is a wonderful name. They're
genuinely the
fantastic looking models,
first,
and they've got a great sort of story and conceit behind them.
Gnarlwood
What's the deal
Underworlds
with
kit that I
Grincrack's
think
Loon
I've
Court?
been
So
very
these
excited
are
for.
the Loon Knights.
This is definitely what I'm getting.
Has kind of set up his own Knights of the Round
I so
Table
wanna paint.
type shtick, and so he's convinced.
I want to paint this
all these other
mushroom.
grots that they are his knights.
I want to paint this boy with
He
the
actually
Squig
knights
on a
them
stick.
with his boss stick.
Because it's just too
Fantastic.
good. I
And
really
so,
like the
you know,
slingshot. I
unusually
love that
for
there's
grots,
two of them and he's
they are
standing on top of the other one. I
remarkably
wish I could see. Oh,
So as
oh my
part
god,
of
is
their
that his
whole
little
deal,
foot?
They have to go on quest.
Is that like a little
So,
foot
in-game,
of this other
you
gobbo
can
just
assign
sticking
them
out? Because
a
he's like
quest. And
spread
if they
legged
complete
behind
the
that
quest, you get
that
glory
shield.
tokens as for
and
completing
it's
any
got
objective.
mushrooms growing
But
on
that's
it.
how they inspire.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh my
okay.
god, it's so good.
So,
like honestly, my
in-
least
in-
exciting two
in
are just
addition
these
to
little
sort
boys
of a
over
really
here.
fun sort of story
But
concept
everybody
behind
else,
them,
like from
they've got
here
some
over, is just
wonderfully
astoundingly cute to me.
bananas models, and we've
My
got to talk
headset,
about
I got
my
that
favourite, without a
from-
doubt, and this might fly against the general trend of the chat. Is
I will double
Snorbo
check.
the
I can't
Spore up in the
remember. I
top
think it's,
right. He has his own spore trumpet.
Sorry,
which is
my
a
brain
missile
was like
weapon.
completely blanking on the name. It's from
It's
Razer.
not powerful. I don't know
So
what
that's
we'd
where I got
expect
it. It
from
is their
essentially a mushroom trumpet
brand headset, and it changes color with
suitably wonderful.
the lights on
and
my
he has
keyboard,
the best
which is-
looking sort of pointy hat you've ever done seen. But next to him we have.
I'm sure they will
very
happily, Dan.
excellent
they will happily sell you those
Poking
worlds. They will
Snark,
happily do
who
that.
has, as the chat has rightly pointed out, Squig on a Stick. There is. I don't even know how to
should
describe
totally
it.
translate them
Skullcoat
into a
and
Mordheim
Pronk,
warband.
you can
Cyber
barely
Goblin.
see one of them. He's hidden behind that shield.
Absolutely should.
Operating
They're
the
so good.
Squigapult. In the centre, you obviously have Grincrack himself, and then you have.
Rudy, I hope you get some lizard upgrades soon. I would love
There
to
you
see
go.
more lizard.
And his
I feel like they
lance
have
is
severely
properly wonky
had a
in that
lack
it
of
actually
new
looks
models
like a polo
recently.
mallet.
Like,
Well,
don't get me
that's
wrong.
it. So he's got
Loving
a
these
lance
goblins,
as if he
I
would
love seeing more
charge you down
grayskins,
with
but
it,
like,
but it very
I
much
do
has
really
a-
enjoy the
it
lizard
looks
men,
like
and I
he's got
want to
his
see more of
stuck
them.
on a-
And I feel
like
like
a log
they've
or something.
they've really taken a I
Yeah,
feel like a
I
step
think it's-
back.
It's a hammer.
I think it's
in Age of Sigmar.
militant polo.
Correct
in
me if I'm
action.
wrong, but I feel like that's
you've gotta
how it
love
is, and I feel like they
And
were
these
much
guys,
more
it's
of a
just
big deal.
This, like wonderful bananas warband. They've got rules. I don't know if we're going to go over them, but they're suitably jolly. Oh, there we go. So here's a little taste.
The card art's pretty nice
Grincrack,
for Underworld. I will
As you can
admit.
see, he's not like the killingest. But if you are willing to mob up and outnumber the enemy, is that the way to win with them?
Yes. So
I'm gonna mute myself
Grincrack,
really
as you said,
briefly,
his
guys.
Stats are not
I could blow my
particularly
nose.
inspiring, nor are any of the warband. But you can get a lot of them on the board, particularly for Underworlds. And if you can be quite tactical, because various quests involve delving, various quests involve causing damage or surviving damage. You've got to be very tactical to get enough of your guys inspired to get that
And we're
extra
back.
boost to take down the enemy. And as you said, if you can mob up a couple of enemy characters,
I really like the
particularly if you've
look
got
of these new models too.
quite a
I
limited
completely agree.
warband
I
against
don't
you,
know
so
when
only
these are
3 models.
anticipated to actually come out. Hopefully,
do
they actually give us a
surprisingly
hint
well.
of that
Sounds great to
in
me.
the stream in the same way that they
And once again,
just
I think
talked
it must be
about
said
the
that
plan for Age of
Warhammer Studios
Sigmar
have just
as a whole. So I'm
blown-
hoping we get a little bit of a
blown out the
lineup.
park
Let's
with
see
the,
what's coming for
like,
Underworlds in 2023.
I've mixed my metaphors.
It makes
Knocked
sense that
it
they'd
out
want
of
to
the
do
park,
that at this point because I
with
don't.
Just incredible Warhammer Underworlds.
I don't 100% know if we're gonna
once
get another
more.
Warhammer
there's
Fest
real
live
character in
preview thing
Yeah, isn't there,
until
though? It's so
after the
good.
new year.
I can't get over.
yeah,
what
I
a
would love to
lovely
know a
way it is
timeline.
to sort of dabble in a different part of Warhammer than you might be
Yes.
used to. You know, just have a little sort of flutter with
true.
some.
We did get the
some mood
skinks.
by Gits.
Are those out yet?
Sounds great. Somebody
Are the-
said
for
it was
the-
very
'cause that was a
Empire
Warcry
preview.
set,
I
right?
don't know if that's
Has
a
that
reference
actually
to the old
released?
world.
I can't remember now.
When there is more old world news,
Because if that
we will be
has,
sure to bring it to you,
I'm
but I
going to
would
be
imagine
keeping an eye out
that
for when the
preview will be
skinks
well
release separately
signposted
in a
with
battle
exactly what
pack
you
if
can
they do
expect,
that. I don't know if that's what they call
when
them.
it
That's
is
just
coming.
the first word that came to my head.
Right.
But in a
Okay,
smaller
the
set
march
because I
of time
really do
continues
want those
inexorably
skinks.
onwards.
I was a little
And,
hesitant on them
next
because the
up,
first two that
we
they
go
showed, I
to
wasn't super thrilled on the
Necromunda.
posing. But since then, it's been great. All right, now what are we getting? Go back to nope, Necromunda. Ooh. Oh, I like the chicken legs. I guess they're not chicken legs because they don't have claws. They're more hooked, but. I think they're pretty cool. I really wish, so like, I'm loving what they're doing with the Necromunda models right now. All of the vehicles in, like, walker, like, models and all that are so cool. And this continues. Legs of iron!
So,
so good.
House Cawdor goes into the ash waste, I suppose, is the answer here. And does so in a fairly unconventional way with the Cawdor.
Dude, okay, it's not out yet. Good, okay. These look really cool. I really want the Necromunda models to be usable in 40k more because I feel like they're producing so many of these awesome vehicles and awesome, like, interesting units that add a lot of variety and uniqueness to the armies, but they're not actually usable across all of them. And I'm just like, this is a severe missed opportunity, Games Workshop. I want to see these kinds of models. Like, I want to see these on a table. For a Warhammer 40k game, so that it's like massive, and you can have a whole bunch of them, because that would be rad.
What they're doing in their own way, right?
Yes, it's as if somebody has described a sentinel to them at some point, and they've attempted to.
That would be cool. Prototype Terminators for Necromunda would be awesome. I completely agree.
This is almost like a holy quest. They're knights.
I completely agree with you, Mark. Them going to Ash Waste has been super fun, but again, I really wish there was more crossover.
There's something truly mad about the way that sort of Cawdor functions.
Yes, I completely agree with you, Michael. Necromunda's flavor is some of the most on point.
Together, and there's a real sort of what's the right word for it?
Squats for like, do they? I can't.
Their bits of.
Did they announce that or?
Like it quite works. It's all very ramshackle.
Am I just thinking of something else? But yeah, squats for Necromunda would be great.
Carry them above the rad waste.
Did you run them with Orlocks
as they
perhaps?
go on their little errands.
I don't actually know how that works.
But in terms of weapons, they're
okay,
fairly well
they
armed,
did come with some Necromunda squats. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I thought they had. Oh yeah, because they had that big vehicle. Duh, I am silly.
It's basically a big grenade on a stick.
Yes,
I mean, it is a big grenade on a stick. It's very clear.
A one-time wonder. But as you can see from here, even after you've spent the grenade, it's still quite an effective stick.
Yeah, it's not too bad for just bashing things. I think if they were going to have an advantage, it's numbers, right?
Yes.
I mean, in this set,
they do seem to have a lot
4
of numbers.
models, so you can imagine them sort of stalking ahead of your Cawdor gang.
Yeah, no, I knew the squats were out. I just had completely forgotten they'd released that one.
Corral the enemy and sort of.
I actually think with the Arcs of Omen that they've been previewing, which I have no idea if they're going to talk about it all during this stream or not. But the most recent one was talking about the Space Hulk, which we already kind of knew because at the last Warhammer Fest they had talked about this, and I'll probably talk about this on Monday. But one of the things that
sort of stood heroically
I feel like that has revealed is them doing a Space Hulk is a way for them to bring back Archaeotech very easily with literally no questions asked, because of course there's going to be Archaeotech and other lost technology on a Space Hulk that's been ripped out of the warp and supposedly is going to be like the largest that we've ever seen. So like, I really think they're going to end up doing that with 10th edition. I think we're going to see an influx of potentially 30k themed weaponry show up, or just them introducing new, we've never seen before weaponry and going, oh, well, it's just from this era and we've never talked about it before, but it's on this Space Hulk, so guess we have it now. Cool, which could be fun. Like, I will admit, that could be very fun. It could also get super bloated and cause a lot of problems, so we'll see where it goes. But
interesting to see which
I definitely think between
picked up by
Abaddon doing shenanigans and them having the setting be set on a Space Hulk, that's what we're leaning towards.
And connect two of these together. Do you get like a weird sort of crazy ash-walking dog? I've no idea. Somebody can do that, and then I'll see it on that.
Ooh, a new. If we do get a peek at a new Chaos character, Cybo Goblin, that would be awesome.
Before we just roll on
oh, right, because we got that preview of the Dark Mechanicus looking fella in that last, like a preview not too long ago. I bet you're right. I bet we will get that reveal. Ooh, I'm very excited for that. That might steal the show for me.
Yes, I've completely blanked on it as well.
There you go. Somebody in the chat will fill us in quick. Help us out.
Dude, that would be great.
So
and that's another thing
I
that they
think
could
we're
absolutely
seeing
do with the
each
Space
of
Hulk
these
ideas.
big
They could
clan
just
houses
bring in a new faction, make some factions have like suddenly a lot more strength because a bunch of their units return. Because, like you said, there are Imperial Guard or Squats or Chaos or whatever on the Space Hulk, and it's been trapped in the warp. This also could be how they like bring characters back too, if they wanted to, or save some characters because they.
What's next for us?
I don't know. End up on it and then it goes away again or something. Who knows what happens? But there's a lot of interesting potential because they're bringing a Space Hulk in, and I think it's them allowing themselves some flexibility.
In the last of these previews, Raph, hit it.
All right, what are we getting next? Okay. Okay. Abaddon and... I'm less familiar... Oh, that's the new character, Vashtor. Got it. That's cool. I mean, I don't...
So, Arcs of
I'm
Omen,
not excited about books,
this,
but I am
the
excited
last time
about
we
the
did a preview,
slight hint of the miniature
it's
we
this
got to see.
New unfolding narrative arc for Warhammer 40,000. And we mentioned, I think, that the first of the books in this sequence was going to be Abaddon, named for the War Master himself. But here we see the first 3 titles in this arc. So you have Arcs of Omen, Abaddon, Angron, and then Vashtor.
It concerns me that they said the first 3, because that implied that there was going to be more than
in the
3.
millennium, we've got something called.
And I don't know if I am
it's
ready
like
for
a
another Psychic
conglomeration
Awakening,
of,
specifically. Like,
various spaceships,
of a
void
bunch
vessels,
of
rocks,
books
you
with
name it, all kind of
piecemeal
crunched
rules
together.
set into them.
Now these sometimes are in real.
I'm not
space,
sure I'm
sometimes
ready
they've
for
been
this.
through the warp, so there's some very weird goings on with them. Now, Abaddon has teamed up with Vashtor.
I do like the look of the covers. I'll admit that. Like, I kind of enjoy the new look. They're definitely going to revamp how they look, make their codexes look.
They've been fitted with.
They always do that.
They've been fitted
because they need them to stand out so that newbies who are coming in, who are like have never bought Warhammer ever before, can easily identify that like, oh, this one's different from this one. Let me ask about which one is the one I should get. They're definitely gonna want to do that because too many stores get stuck with like a lot of out of print. Or not out of print, out of date codexes.
Different things to
if you like go to a friendly local game store as opposed to like maybe
who and or what
store,
is a Vashtor. We will get to that. I promise
codexes pretty cool.
But one of the things to talk about with these books is that they're propelling this storyline.
Yeah, they do kind of look like Night Hunters.
Next big sort of plan. You know, he's the War Master of Chaos. He's
ooh, you know what they do kind of remind me of. Like, that's a great call out.
The Emperor off of his throne.
Derpocracy? I probably butchered your name. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna call you Derp.
But
yeah, it does remind me of Magic the Gathering.
Contents of that first.
It really has a Magic the Gathering vibe. I wonder if they took some design elements from when they worked on Magic for the Secret Lair and
competitive style of Warhammer 40,000. The rules in here
Banner decks that they did. It's a crossover. Did any of you guys get those, by the way? Like, I thought about it, but they were outrageously priced, and I just. I like Warhammer,
tanking your
and I like Magic to a certain extent too, because I have collected a number of the cards, but I just could not justify it.
These sort of close confines of these arcs of Omen, right? As different agencies around the Imperium, be they Chaos or the Imperium itself or Xenos forces.
I do like the idea of like boarding actions and that being introduced.
This picture here gives you a fantastic example of it.
Like I do like the Space Hulk setting that they're going with. I'm just curious to see where this is actually going to go.
Sort of 2-inch squares. So this is the same sort of kits that you got in the Kill Team boxes.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
They're all fought in a Space Hulk, and it's brutal close quarters sort of firefights and combat. It's potentially smaller point games, but a lot more intense.
It's interesting to me the focus on smaller point games.
The nice thing about these close confines battles,
because I feel like that's where everybody's going right now. Because Shatterpoint's doing that too for Star Wars. We're at Atomic Mass. They're also going with they're introducing another small skirmish game.
dominating the battlefield.
And the fact that like
this
they
is
keep talking
down
about
to
like
sort of
wanting to
close
reduce the
confines
size a
and
little
sort
bit of their
small
game,
scale tactical maneuvering,
and they've been doing that for I feel like a little
I'm
while.
really
That's why they
excited to
introduced
see
like the
how,
different scaling and everything to try to get people
the
play
gameplay
like games in 30
looks and
minutes
feels,
during their lunch
when
breaks.
you're actually in amongst it.
Which I
but
just
also,
don't, or I guess
have
in
to
an
say, I'm
hour
quite
during a
excited to
lunch
see what
break.
this does to
I
the
just
sort
still
of
don't think it's
continuing
possible.
story of
But yeah, it'd be
Warhammer
interesting.
40,000. That sort of endless battle between the
So we're at
Imperium and
least getting
Chaos,
4
you know,
books.
that started off with Horus's Great Betrayal. Sort of lies at the heart of this incredible universe.
Okay, so one of the
Here you
other
can see,
things that I'm a little like
those first 3
intrigued
titles
by
sort of
with
laid
all
out
of
with
this
you got Abaddon,
is the
you've got Angron,
severe
and you've got
lack of
Vashtor,
Xeno.
and then the
Because
fourth book,
I feel like
tiny
we're
teaser,
still doing that.
redacted by order
like
of
in the story.
Ordo
Where
Xenos,
are
so
like
make
what
of
happened
that
till the
what you
Eldari
will. And it gives you a sense
and
of
the Dark
how this timeline
Eldar
is going
like
as well.
working
Abaddon
on
will
the
land in
throne,
the winter,
or the
and, by
Yunari
late
is who it
spring you
was.
can
Like what
expect,
happened to them
that
working on the
fourth,
the Golden Throne
I've
and
got to make
everything.
a tiny little nod to one of the sort of visual things which is going on here, which I love.
I get that the
ages
smaller games
what
definitely
these
make
funny,
them go faster, but
sort of
like
shapes are between the images. Now,
I don't know.
the chat,
I
you
feel
might
like
have
there's
already
enough
sussed it out.
things that
Those
fit
are
that
top-down
vibe, even
views of,
from
Chaos
Games
battle
Workshop's own
cruisers.
catalog, that I don't
And
really
some of
want to
the penny
see
drops. There you
Warhammer
go,
also
ships,
get
you've
shrunk
got a
down.
key
Like Kill
forgery.
Team is already that. Like that is
Apparently I was
supposed to
too
be the
slow on
small
uptake.
skirmish game.
Looks fantastic.
And I just,
Right.
I don't know. I like
So,
playing at 2,000
very
points. I do
exciting
also
time
like
if
playing
you're
at
sort of a
1,000 points
massive
though,
super
so I
nerd
guess
like
I'm not.
me for the sort of the story.
I guess
of
I can't
Warhammer
really speak
40,000.
that much about it.
But there has been a question in the chat that has been asked perhaps more than any
Yeah,
other. And that
it
is, what
definitely
on earth
feels a
is
little bit like Psychic
Vashtor?
Awakening, and I'm not
let's
super
get
thrilled for
Wade
that.
Price, the sort of head of
I
the
do
Warhammer
hope that it's not
40,000
as
lore, team.
bad as Psychic Awakening, but I'm not really going to have a lot of confidence. Ooh, we're getting one more reveal. The mini and not a book.
Demons and demonic entities in the warp are formed from coalesced emotions and drives of mortal creatures. We understand the greater gods of chaos to be formed from some of those primal mortal emotions, and Vashtor has been formed from the desire to create and manipulate and invent, to make things that didn't already exist. Vashtor wants to become a god. Vashtor is already considered a demigod, an independent demon within the realm of chaos. He is the arms dealer, the weapons broker of the great game that takes place between the chaos gods. So he's
But they're not even
independent,
talked
he is
about
too
anymore,
vital
that's
and
the
valuable
problem.
to any of them to risk attacking, but he
Oh,
wants
I like
more.
his face.
So in the Vashtor miniature, we see an expression of chaos that we don't really see in the demons of the
Very
greater chaos
clockwork.
gods. He is a demon of the Forge of Souls, a demon of machinery, of invention, and everything that we've associated with the Obliterators, demon engines, that flesh metal fusion of the technological and the organic. You can see in Vashtor when he assumes a physical form, like
I know I'm
demons
not
do,
talking much, but I want
enter
to
the
listen.
material universe. Vashtor
just admiring
makes
this.
a form from machine parts and sacrificial meat, and that is what you see represented in the Vashtor miniature. We see Vashtor's armed with a hammer, which is the hammer of the Forge of Souls. And a hammer's a tool that can make things, it can destroy things. But that's different to what we've seen on demon princes. Vashtor's not a demon prince. He's not been elevated from the ranks of mortals to become a champion of one of the Chaos Gods. He is his own creation, and the fact that he's got that unique armament, I think, speaks to something of his character. Vashtor is a demon of the Forge. He's born aloft on a cloud of pollutant smoke and steam. He emanates foundry heat and crackling electric discharge. The wings are not really for show, but they're not carrying him aloft in the manner of a bird. They're probably fine tools for precise mechanical engineering as much as they are actually wings. They're a symbol of his status and a sign of his ambition to become something greater than he might already be. So Vashtor has formed an alliance with Abaddon. Abaddon has huge temporal power, mortal power in the material universe. Vashtor has significant power within the realm of chaos. And
He does
together,
seem to have taken
forge something that will allow Vashtor to pursue his goals of becoming a god and allow Abaddon to pursue his ambitions of securing his dominion of the Imperium Nihilus.
So I will admit, I actually really like the model. I think it's interesting, the introduction of this like new character,
this is very exciting. First of all, Wade does an amazing job of setting the scene
so
and the tone for this. But an
thank
extremely
you for
exciting
purging.
sort of piece of Warhammer 40,000 sort of lore and story. and then melded with a model which is just
I know, right? But that's what this looks like. It's Dark Mechanicus, 100%. I really actually like it.
Absolutely amazing.
I don't believe those wings are wings at all. Like I don't think they would carry him whatsoever. They're not even like
sort of meat and metal
powered. Like they don't even have like jets or anything. They are just claws. So
typical.
I guess tools is what they are. But I love the look of it.
Silhouette, hasn't he, with these sort of almost like pinioned wings and things? But there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and he still feels.
I love that face. I cannot stop staring at his glowing eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like a Mauler fiend
I wish they would like zoom in. I want to see like a little bit more of the details. Because like this arm,
yeah, absolutely.
That's holding.
And I'll need to go back and listen to what Wade had to say a couple of times. I think to sort of
that arm that's holding the hammer. I love the look of that. I love the skeleton. It reminds me of
much in demand to all of them, because
Terminator. Where you see when Arnold like strips his arm of flesh, show people he's a robot. It reminds me of that, and I love that element. Like that is so cool to me. He's very striking. It's partially the color palette, like they went with the pinky purple flesh.
It gives an explanation to things like the Helldrake and, as you said, the Mauler Fiend. And I saw someone in the chat be like, does this have any?
There's actually some Age of Sigmar magic cards too. They just were a secret drop only,
a little bit more information
or a secret layer drop only.
As times go by, but essentially it's kind of like
they're definitely all stab mark.
The smith, the right, the arms dealer almost.
Ooh, that would be cool if it was a Dead Knight Lord's like morphed body. That would be neat.
Wade mentioned that the flesh was.
I really
scavenged
okay,
from
good.
The
look at that arm, like just.
Offerings
is that
made
not
to
so
bring
cool?
him
I
into
love the way the flesh is like
the material universe
stitched or like pinned on so that it doesn't fully
hideously
come off. I also really love what's going on in the back
sort of,
here.
Intricate metal work,
and then all of the detail
here,
here,
like you'd expect from a demon.
Like all of
prince,
it's so
they're
cool.
Like vicious-looking blades. He's got these sort of chimney stacks.
I really hope that
just like you
with
see
Vashtor we actually do. Oh my God! What if that's what's on the Space Hulk? Is it ends up just being a bunch of corrupted Mechanicus?
Also, I'm fairly
like,
sure that claw
a ship or something that was lost like ages ago to the warp, like really insignificant in the grand scheme of things or something. But
awesome.
like they just grew.
And that,
super insane and like chaotic
this
in the warp on the Space Hulk, and then he heralds them out because I think he's supposed to be on the Space Hulk, right? That's where like the first preview that they did at Warhammer Fest, where they kind of revealed his silhouette.
For those who are wondering, how big
I feel like he was on the Space Hulk, and they like opened the door to him or something like that.
Black Legion.
I would love to see.
He's made a. In fact, here here's
so
a
many
picture
Dark
of him.
Mechanicus models. That'd be so.
This is Vashtor appearing in the presence of Abaddon aboard the Vengeful Spirit to strike the bargain with
I'm kind
which they are
of curious,
both
like
going
who
to
actually
pursue these arcs
constructed
of
him.
Omen.
I guess it's just like he was a Forge Master.
What he wants out of it, I guess.
But he's undivided.
To be seen.
He feels very a little Bellicor in that way.
He's on a
little Bellicor in that way, not in the full way, but
and
I don't know. I'm getting that vibe.
So. Sizable,
dude,
impressive figure.
Tark Admech would destroy, I think, a lot of people's wallets.
I was like, how big is he? And
like, I'm not even a huge like. If there is
WarhammerCommunity.com
one army that I don't actually think I own models to, I think it's Admech.
5 inches.
But if there were
really okay, so he's going to tower above your line infantry.
I feel like the spikes along with all the tendrils.
I don't think he'll settle for ever being.
It's just a really good combo. I mean, you see that a little bit.
Purely a creature of the warp.
But like it'd be even more so.
He was always been. He always will be. And so
do you like the art?
Throughout sort of the timeline of Warhammer 40,000, he's always been there somewhere in the background, and his power has grown when
always been there, guys. Always
factions
been there.
have decided to do something that's maybe a little bit beyond their grasp. So the Necrons,
I suspect they will be as well.
Goodness,
I completely can see that. I wonder how soon they'll be introduced.
The Cursed Founding,
that's the question, right?
Tinkering that the Magos Biologists were doing, that'll have given him a little boost. Or Call creating the Primaris. He's certainly somebody that would reach a little bit further than he should do.
Back on screen.
And all that kind of
I mean, this art's cool,
Machiavellian
guys.
sort of
We're here for the minis.
Boosted him.
We want to
and now
see
he's
the
finally
plastic
decided that he's
in all of its glory.
His move.
I love it. This is great. an incredible.
Do I
new
actually own his
character and
Katari?
model,
I thought we had gotten
to
rid of
sort
all
tie
of
into
that
this
because we gifted it to
unfolding
somebody
arc
when we
omen
bought one of the
narrative.
sets. Very
Probably
well.
blown my
I
mind with the
stand
idea that,
corrected.
like, you know, when like the biotransference of the Necrons is taking place somewhere deep in
Yeah,
the
I
north.
thought,
like,
gosh,
my
right? I
goodness.
do hope it's
Oh,
faster than they did the
sinister.
Voton.
Love it. Right.
I mean, they
Well,
revealed one model, so I feel like they
that is
have
the
to.
reveals
If they're
for
going
this
to
Warhammer
make it
Preview
AdMech,
online.
like dark AdMech, then they gotta start.
Is there a thing that has
rolling that out
most
soon.
grabbed your fancy throughout all of this? Chat, let us know. What is the thing that has done it for you? While Alex decides, I already know mine.
What is your guys's? What
Vashtor is amazing,
specifically
and, as you said, the-
was your favorite
push
thing
on
out of all
storyline
the
for
reveals?
Warhammer
I think
40,000
mine was
is
definitely.
But I have to go with the Loon Knights.
I'm torn between the
Squig
Underworld
on a
set
stick
and then
is-
the last
So
guy. Because
I
like,
think I might have been there with you.
look at them,
the
they're so
Loon Court
good.
is amazing, and the
you can't go wrong
the
with
Spore
orcs
Trumpet
or
is just
goblins,
about the
man.
best
You
thing
just
ever.
can't.
But I think you might have won me over to Vashtor with your sort of explaining how he's ever present through all these incredibly
He's
dark
so
and
cool, though.
interesting events of
I think what it is like it's
history.
it really is the
But
color
we've seen
palette.
loads
I
of other great
love
things
that
as well.
gold on that
Obviously
armor
those
so
incredible
darn
World Eaters,
much.
Releases the 8-bound, the
World
Exalted
Eaters,
8-bound,
nice.
I love how Raph is matching me. The
Jackals.
The cute goat
Jackals,
clip was cute.
you've got- I'm gonna
I-
keep going.
I
The Lord
completely
of
admit-
Dishonored, the Lord on his Juggernaut, perfect. Really, it's going to be an amazing time.
The
If
Goblin
Corn is
Wolves,
your
they
thing,
were
the
great.
World Eaters are getting
Vashtor,
the
yeah,
red
no, he's looking
carpet
rad.
rolled out. Oh, that felt good. You're also, of course, battle tomes coming for Warhammer Age of Sigmar with the Beasts of Chaos and their brilliant new Beast Lord model. You've got the Gloomspite Gits, who
Right,
people have been
like,
waiting for
he
a
is pretty
while.
rad
There's
looking.
passionate fan base.
There's
behind
so
those
many good
Gloomspite
stuff.
Gits, with their incredible new Snarlfang Riders and
The
just
Wolf
because it's
Riders
great
too,
that,
though. There
Loon
was
Court,
actually some
I'm going too fast for
some
Raph now,
pretty
poor guy.
decent reveals in this one.
Doing a great job.
Well,
And of course, Necromunda gets a little nod. The Ash Waste warfare continues with the Corridor
love-
Ridge Walkers.
my one
and then
disappointment, I
the
guess, with
showstopper,
these
the-
is I
the
wish they had
next
chicken
big
feet.
thing for Warhammer 40,000
Because I want them to be just like mini Baba Yaga
continue
heads.
to unfold. I'm very excited to see.
I need to
I'm
convert
excited
that
for all
and
of it,
like
right? I
just
don't
not
really
put
know
their
what happens in
normal
1,
feet
2,
on
and
and
3
just
yet,
put
already
little
I'm
chicken
looking
feet
at
on the
them
bottom
going,
and then I can
what
do
is
that.
that little
Build up a little
cheeky
straw around them.
Ordos,
That's
stamp
it. It's
alluding
The
to?
Juggernaut was really
potentially a
rad.
little hint to something.
I admit the
sign me right
Juggernaut's
up.
really cool, and I'm excited for that on just saying
And then
because I
obviously we
own some old
unveiled
ones and I
the
really like
Arcane
comparing
Vashtor,
the
for
history
first
of
time.
those models. Like
Just
so good. They are
brilliant.
just flying
The,
through all of the
Warhammer
stuff that they
Studio
just revealed
have
again and be like,
excelled
we
themselves
saw this and this
all
and
that
this and this.
remains is to thank all of you. There's like more than 12,000 of you right now in the chat who've
My
either
goodness.
woken up or stayed up, or maybe if you're in Australia, it's just like the middle of the afternoon and it's all great, to join us and to have some fun enjoying all these Warhammer previews. It's been a delight. Thank you, Raph, for
All
pressing all
right.
the buttons and making us look like we know what we're doing. Thank you, Alex, for
Since
joining
they
me
are done, I'm
and,
going to go ahead
holding,
and
this
switch.
thing
Well,
down
actually, I'm not
while
going to
Eddie
because
is
they may
in
have a
New
random
Mexico.
other
Thank you,
reveal,
Notley,
and I
press
hate
all the
to
buttons.
miss that,
But
so
most
we're not going
importantly,
to. We're going to
thank
wait
you
till
to
they're
all of
actually
you
done.
marvelous people for being in the chat, for being enthusiastic and enjoying Warhammer with us.
But we're probably going to
We will
wrap
be
up
back
here
again
ourselves
in the not too
again
distant future.
soon.
If you want more Warhammer goodness,
Mostly
there's
because
going to be
my
games going
nose
on
is starting
all
to drain
weekend
again because
long.
I've
I
been
think I'm
getting
right
a
in
little bit
saying
of a cold.
late today, but
And I can
my
feel it.
time clock is like my internal clock is completely upside down, and I no longer know whether I'm coming or going. But have a look on warhammercommunity.com. There's a big banner which shows you what time all the games are taking place, and you can join.
Hey, I
in
mean, any
on some of
excuse
that gameplay
to be able to
from
use your
that,
models and other
grand
things.
narrative event,
And especially if you got a
which
fun
streaming
idea
loads of the games
for
on
it,
Twitch.
more
If
power
you've
to you,
seen
man.
anything,
That's
more
at least my
information on it
opinion.
today, go to warhammercommunity.com and have a look. Whew, that's me for tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon.
Cheers.
All right, I think they are officially done and they're not doing any final reveals, so that's fantastic. Go ahead. Pause that. Get out of full screen, and we'll go back to some dark side music as we wrap this up because I had a blast. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. I definitely enjoyed this because like I always like when we get to look at new models. Normally Games Workshop's pretty on point and tends to give us some really cool things to look at, even if it's not necessarily hitting the boxes that we're really hoping for. But at least for me, I really had no expectations going to this one, so I'm feeling personally pretty satisfied. I like what we got to see from Warhammer 40k. I love the Necromunda models. I do wish they had chicken feet. I love all of the goblins, both the riders and the Underworlds kit. I do think that's great. I love seeing any type of green skin out there. Any Xeno love is fantastic. Yeah, no, this was just really, really great. All right. Well, I think with that, if you guys have enjoyed this, I am going to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you all so very much for joining me. Before I head out, I do want to remind everybody that we are doing a live stream tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time, and I believe it's 6 p.m. UK time, where I am going to be playing Darktide. So if you have been wanting to watch the game be played, if you just want to come hang out and chat with me while I'm playing and hopefully not dying and getting all the stuff that I need to done in the game done, then come and join me because it's going to be a lot of fun. Heck, maybe we can even play together if you guys have also picked up the beta. Who knows? It's going to be awesome. So make sure to join me for that. And for those of you that are watching this on YouTube afterwards, I just want to say thank you guys for watching this. Make sure to let me know down in the comments which thing was your favorite from the event. Thanks to everybody in chat who has joined me. And the final thing that I am going to say is that I want to thank my patrons for making it so content like this can continue to happen. I hope you guys are enjoying this as well, and some of you were able to join me. And yeah, I'm going to head off now and probably take some NyQuil and head to bed because I want to kick this cold in the butt so that I am refreshed and ready for Darktide tomorrow as the music swells. It is such a good soundtrack. Go pick up the game if you guys are interested in it. I would highly recommend it. I've been having a blast with it. Anyways, have a great evening, everybody, or morning, or afternoon, depending on where you all are. And I will see you all next time. Bye.